My name is Colton Brunton. I run Brunton Media in Salisbury. Now there is going to be some audience interaction today. I'm going to keep you, hopefully, get you warmed up. So, has anyone in this room today had a conversation that could either help their business, directly or indirectly, or vice versa with the person you spoke to? Can I get a show of hands? It should be everyone, it's a networking meeting. Good. In the last 24 hours, has anyone listened to the radio, listened to a podcast? Again, show of hands. Good. What about video? Social media, TV?
You.
Me?
Yeah.
It's a little bit boring if it's me. Okay, me. That's a new one. Haven't had that one in a while. Thank you very much. So, everything that I've just discussed is a time for you to either have marketed yourself or be marketed to, right? Now, the start of this talk was the fundamental of marketing. So that bit's done. But it does get a bit more complicated because how do you then do that, right? So what I discussed there and what I alluded to was either something you tried a lot of time to do, e.g. having lots of conversations, right? So one-to-ones, networking, etc. They're great. You should look to do those too. The reason why content is so powerful and the reason why I focus a lot of my work on talking about content is it's the best way to scale what you're doing. And I'll give you some legitimate figures from what myself and David have just done in the last 9 days, leveraging Facebook Reels a little bit later on, right? Which is actually really exciting and a golden opportunity right now that if you wait, it won't exist. And I'll explain why when I get there. But initially, for those who don't know, who do we help? Specifically, we help business owners who are looking to either get into the idea of marketing and understand what it is, but then also know how to scale it. So you might be doing something like this and we can come and capture it for you. You might want to do some testimonial-based pieces with your clients. You also might be in a position where you have some sales terminology that's kind of challenging to understand for your clients. We can help break those down into either usable chunks for social media or larger videos that are either for promotional purposes on your website or to sit there as a little, here's a bit of information to nurture that client for you. So that's more about what we do. But as I said, as I alluded to before, why content specifically? It's a time saver in respect to you invest time once and then you can continue to reuse that content. But also something which we've kind of already alluded to with me and the reason why I post so much content is it keeps you front of mind, right? So everyone in this room has a specific service or a product that they do, right? What ends up happening is when I need that service or product, the person I last had a touch point with, so whether that's a piece of content, a conversation, a message, a call, etc., these are all touch points. They're going to be, oh yeah, I need to use content for video. Oh yeah, I need to go to this person for this. Oh, I need to go for that. And that's what marketing, when it's done effectively and when it's done in a conjoined way, can actually do for you. Because there's the first stage, which is like, let's get people to the point of trust where they actually want to work with me, right? I would argue half of this room is probably at the point where they're like, cool, Colin, love what you do, probably trust me enough to actually work with me. But do you want to do video yet? Maybe not. So what ends up happening is you've got to get them to that point as quickly as possible so that then you can stay in their peripheral vision. So then when they do need what you offer, yes, I need to talk to that person. Where do you go to your coffee shop in the morning, right? A video that did pretty well last week was a video of me talking about why I go to Sonder and Henderson's, right? It's very simple. They rarely have a queue. The product is good. I know the coffee's going to be good. And they're going to treat me as a human being and they're going to respect my time. And as someone who's very busy, as everyone in this room will be, you know that the time is the thing you actually care about. You don't really mind how much it costs, within reason, of course. But when you've created this content, where do we think the best place is to post it? What do we think? Anyone got any ideas? Okay, where's that then, Spen?
Social media.
Okay. A specific platform, if you could only choose one?
No, I don't know.
What do we think? You got Facebook so far? TikTok? Okay, yeah, okay. So it kind of depends. Firstly, what is the strategy that you want to use? So what is the job of that piece of content? Is it to say, hey, look at me? Or is it actually to do something more valuable, like I'm going to educate you on what I do, right? Now they can kind of do both at the same time, but what's the core reason behind why? Some figures for you, and these are updated as of this morning. Facebook has monthly users of 2.9 billion monthly users, okay, on Facebook. To give you some context, current world population is 7.8. YouTube, which has just taken the second spot, is now 2.2 billion. Instagram with 1.4 billion, and our friend TikTok with 1 billion. So there's lots of people looking at lots of stuff on their phones, basically. This is kind of the conversation that I have a lot with traditional marketing agencies around TV commercials, right? Really quickly, if you're watching the telly and the commercials come on, what do you do? Okay, either fast forward, yeah. If it's live telly and you can't fast forward, what do? Go make a cup of tea, okay. There you go. Go put your phone up. So the attention has gone from, let's watch commercials on telly, unless you're at the Super Bowl, by the way. Super Bowl's a very interesting conversation all among itself, because that's when you actually want to watch you will actually watch the commercials on Super Bowl. But that's just a culture-related thing in America. That's not really anything else. And that's the outcropper here. What most people will do, second commercials come on, right, what's on TikTok? What's on Facebook? What's on Instagram? So that's where our attention goes. So would you rather be on the screen that's not been looked at or the screen that's been looked at? But why does video specifically work so well? Why do we think? Moving pictures, yeah? Okay, but you could make the argument that photos have the same as sound. Okay, but I think the last figures, if I'm correct, is about 92% of people watched stuff muted. There's lots of reasons behind that, most of which is social reasons. So people are on their phone right now, which is very rude, by the way, right? They wouldn't want the sound to play out because they were in an environment where they wouldn't want to hear that video play, right? So the real reason we've kind of alluded to a little bit is it's the quickest way to build trust with someone, right? Think about how you would build it outside of content for a minute. We're all business owners, we all have relationships in our lives. How do we build that rapport? Time passed with that person, yes, but what do we do? Engage, yeah. But we had a physical interaction or a digital interaction. So Zoom call is basically a video, right? It's a video call. So I can see, hear you, right? So I'm able to connect with you from a visual point of view because I can see you, an auditory point of view because I can hear you, but also I can read your body language, I can really feel, okay, how do I feel about this person? And that's the important bit. Because how we make our customer feel is actually what matters. Because that's what's going to mean the difference between they make a decision to work with me or work with someone else. Now, do we want to market to everyone, do you think? I've just said there's 7.9 billion people in the world. Do we want to market to all of those? No. Thank you, David. The reason why you don't is because personality-wise, you're not going to connect with them. Also, they might not want what you have to offer as well, right? But this is why you need to understand the fundamentals of what you're going to create content around and also be okay with the fact if people don't like it. Because if people don't like it, they're not your tribe. They're not your people, right? I get people all the time. Some of you watch my content, as I've found out. Gulp, right? Thank you, by the way. And I swear in my content, right? And sometimes that's a big deal for people, right? But that's part of my personality. I'm going to swear in person. I'm going to swear in set. So I'm not going to try and change myself because it will change and it will feel weird, right? If you go from someone who's swearing on video to someone who's slightly more politically correct, perhaps, when in person, it's going to be a bit disingenuous. It's about owning who you are, coming across as your authentic self, and being okay with the fact that you're going to go, don't like that person, but that's cool because they're not your people, right? So just focus on those people you can connect with and those people you can help. It's the same with hate comments, right? One of the main questions I get about content online is, God, what if I get a hate comment? Okay, what if you do get a hate comment? What actually happens to you if you get a hate comment? Well, you look at it and great, fantastic, thank you very much. Yeah. Nothing actually changes to you personally, right? Your mindset on how you deal with that hate comment is what you need to think about. So think about the person who's made the hate comment. They've gone through their day, they've stumbled upon one of your pieces of content online, and they've gone, I'm going to use this person to shout at because I'm annoyed. Okay, but what does that say about you? Nothing, right? So actually you can then answer in compassion. You can be like, hey, you all right? What's going on? Right? Or If it's really bad, just remove it. Just don't give it your attention, right? So much of the time, what marketers want is your attention, right? What every business wants, but especially in the marketing world, we want your attention, right? I have all of your attention now looking at me, right? Most people will be, oh, scary. That's a mindset thing as well. But where it comes from is the fear of judgment of someone else. But when you understand that actually you're only looking to talk to 5-10% of people, of your actual core audience that are actually going to be the ones that purchase from you, you don't really mind if you annoy 10%. You're not really annoying them. They're just like, yeah, Cotton's content's not for me. Fabulous. Go find someone who can serve you better, right? It's they're a better solution, not I'm going to lose for that person, right? But we can't talk about video without talking about short form video, right? Now, where did short form come from? Short form came from the rise of TikTok, which is a interesting algorithmic change because traditionally Instagram, Facebook, etc. were social graphs. E.g., David follows me, so David is going to get shown my content. Fantastic, thank you for following David, right? But TikTok was the one that popularized it. It wasn't the first person to do it, but the one that popularized it was known as an interest graph. So it's taken from a social graph to an interest graph. Now an interest graph is, I like cats, so I'm going to be showing cats. Fantastic. People say to me all the time, Colin, I don't know what's on my TikTok. Okay, manually search something that you want to see on your TikTok, watch 3 or 4 videos in full, close the app, reopen it. You'll be scared by how your algorithm changes. Now, this caused a very interesting reality to happen for all of the other players in this industry. So the YouTubes of the world, the Facebooks of the world, the Instagrams of the world. Because they went, we were the kings for a long time, and this, not going to get into the politics, Chinese company has just taken all our attention. Potentially all our data as well, but that's a separate conversation entirely. That's a problem when you're the advertising kings of the world, Google, Meta, for example. What do? Well, we could do that. Oh, I know what we'll do. Copy, paste. Thanks. This is what they did. This is where the advent of YouTube Shorts came in. This is where Facebook Reels came in. This is where Instagram Reels came in. This is where any other form of vertical video that fits in a phone comes in. As some of you may know, myself and David have just launched a new business as of 9 days ago. The reason why it's relevant to this conversation is the figures I'm about to explain. The strategy we use for that is something that I've also emulated on Brunton Media, and that's probably why you've probably seen it, and you'll understand really why you've probably seen it in a moment. These figures are as of this morning in regards to the last 28 days. For the second business, it's only 9 days because it didn't exist for 28 days. Monthly reach on people for Brunton Media at the moment is just under 17,000 people as of right now. And I'm not posting any more content today. I haven't posted anything on Brunton Media today, right? So I'm hitting 17,000 different people, and the post interaction on that is about 50%. So about 50% of that are actually interacting with it. But in regards to people who are seeing me and my content in the last 28 days, it's 17,000. Now something I'm quite proud of is the fact that in 8 days, on the second business, we've got 7,500 people. The reason why we've got that is because of a very simple supply and demand curve when it comes to content. At the moment on Facebook, there is a huge amount of attention being poured into short form video because of the rise of TikTok, because of the rise of YouTube Shorts, etc. But there isn't enough content being created in the short form principle. So when you have a scenario like this, there is a massive opportunity, and this is what I'm saying, if you wait 6 months, it won't exist. What happens here is if you're the person filling the feed, creating content for the feed, and this could be literally something you all do after this, pick up your phone, talk about what you do for 1 minute, and put it as a Facebook reel, right? You don't have to do it professionally, just create it as a reel. So it goes into the reel algorithm. Do that consistently. So we're posting 3 times a day at the moment. Do that consistently, and it will build up, it will ramp up. What people normally get disheartened by is they start it, they do one and go, it didn't work. But the problem is, that never worked anyway. Doing one thing once never worked. Most of the people in the room have been to, how many networking events would you say across your career? Thousands, right? So you're not going to gauge whether networking works on one, are you? You're not going to go, oh, I've been to one, oh, networking can't work. Same with content. We're not in 2012 anymore. 2012 traditionally was, you could do a promotional video and it prints your money, quite literally, because it was the new shiny thing. What I'm telling you right now is short form is the new shiny promotional video. But you have to think about it in a short form way, not this is a one channel, sits on the website, does the job you need to do. This is we're going to dominate the attention through volume and what value and what you say more than it looks shiny. Look shiny is important if you sell it like I do, right? If you don't sell it, it doesn't matter. And actually, I'm having to fight the algorithm in some respects because I professionally edit and produce all my own content. If you actually look into the details of the algorithm, when you can, TikTok and Instagram prefer you to create in-app edited videos, which means you've created it on your phone, you've edited it inside the app itself, and then you posted it. There is an actual algorithm knock-on effect to doing that. So you can actually outpace me, because I don't do that. I post-edit it, take the file onto my phone, and directly post it into the platform. So I'm not actually doing any editing in the app. So all the app's going to see is a video has come from his camera roll into the app. I'm not going to get penalized for doing that, but I'm not going to get the boost. What I'm talking to you about is how to get the boost by using your phone. There's lots of other things like how well do you talk, how well do you come across, where are you looking, etc., which we can go into detail, but not really in this presentation. They're all fluff, and they're all how to make it better. At the end of the day, what you say and the value that you add to your clients, which is what you need to think about when you're creating content, is what makes the actual value difference to the market. And when you articulate it, think about it as, I'm telling an alien, a 5-year-old, or my best friend who has no idea what I do. So no jargon, nothing complicated. And this is a really good exercise if you want to get started in video, because I know a couple of you are like terrified with the idea. Just start by creating 5 videos that you're not going to do anything with, outside of you're going to create them. You don't have to talk about anything related to business, you don't have to talk about anything at all. All you have to do is just talk to a camera. That's the only objective for those 5, right? Which is, hello, my day was this, I did this, I had this for breakfast, the sun was out today, it's great, fantastic, there's number 1 done, right? Same again the following day, same again the following day, same again the following day. Do that for 5 to 10, see how you feel. Then think, okay, what key takeaway, what key thing happened in my business today that if I was telling my best friend, they would see value in? Now, this is the thing about value, right? It's subjective, so take it with a grain of salt. But when you start creating content, you just have to put stuff out there to see what happens, right? Because you've got no data. Then you can see what works. Because once you've got the data, you can then start analysing the data and go, right, what does my audience care about? Oh, this one got 4,000 views, this one got 4. Okay, what is it about the 4,000 view video that is important, right? What is it about that video that's different than the one that got 4? Is it how I came across? Is it what I talked about? Okay, then test it. So do another video on the same topic, see how it does, etc. Right? And the final thing I'll say on pain point specifically, because that's what I'm talking about here, actually ask your client. You want to know what to create? Use a networking meeting, use one-to-ones, use conversations you'll have with your colleagues to say, well, what's our issues? If you have a larger sales team, ask what your customers have issues with, and then create the solutions through content. Because then that positions you as the expert, and then you'll be front of mind, then I've built credibility, then I've built trust with you, and then when I need whatever it is that you're going to sell me, I'm more likely to go, yes! Because sales is only hard when your marketing sucks. To be honest, it is. If your marketing's good, you don't really have to do much selling, because you've made all the promises, and then you've followed through with the results, as in they can physically see it. So the conversation is just, how do we do this for you, right? So short form kind of leans into the attention span of a human, right? Because it's short. But what do we think the attention span actually is, the average attention span, in seconds? What do we think? 30. Well, not quite 4. Okay. To give you some context, a goldfish is 9.
So smarter or dumber?
In 2000, it was 12 seconds. The US study found, where I got these figures from. I checked this morning, so I'm going to update the cue card. The cue card says 2015. It's the same at the moment, 8.2. So we're just stupider than a goldfish. Sorry, guys. Getting outpaced by a goldfish. So I'm going to leave you with something which comes from investing, but is actually really important when you do content. And it's the reason why I got the numbers and we got the numbers with the second business that we did. And that's why I'm saying if you're consistent, it will compound. The art of compounding works if you work for an entire calendar year, so a year from today, and you make 1% improvement a day, you'll be 37 times better than you were today next year. Thank you very much for listening. So let me tell you a very simple principle to start creating videos. It's called the 5-second rule. Mel Robbins came up with this concept called the 5-second rule. Our brain is designed to keep us alive. It only knows how to do that if it has evidence. So why are we scared of creating videos, being public speaking, talking to someone we like, especially when they're not with us, etc., asking out a date, etc.? Because we don't have evidence to know that we don't die. From a simple tribal point of view, that's what your brain's doing. It's going, this thing, I don't know if it doesn't kill me. Because if we go back to tribal times, going into a wood could kill you. Doing something outside of your comfort zone could mean you got eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. Or murdered by another tribe. Or, in this case perhaps, killed by Casper. I don't think Casper would do it, but anyway. So how did Mel Robbins help her clients get to the point where they could do anything? It's very simple. Do it within 5 seconds. As in, I'm going to create a video, press, right, I'm recording the video. Because what happens is, your brain doesn't have the chance for its survivalistic instinct to kick in. And go, why are we doing this? This is a bad idea. It doesn't have the chance. Because you're just acting. If you want to jump in a cold shower, you want to have a cold shower, or you happen to be having a cold shower, don't sit there and go, I'm going to have a cold shower. Because then your brain's going to go, but it's going to be cold, it's going to be uncomfortable, I'm not going to like it, I'm going to hyperventilate. Just go into the shower. Now, it's not going to stop the shock that happens, and that's a different conversation, right? So with the cold shower example, getting you in the shower will work in under 5 seconds. That's why podcasting is so powerful, because you're in the position where you're not thinking about creating content. The reason why I love doing these is I don't think about creating content, but I'm creating content. Some of the best content I come up with is just when I'm trying to add value.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not sitting here going, what can I say that would be good for Instagram? It might be really bad for Instagram. I have no idea. I have no idea. But I'm focused on, it's just a focus point. That's what I'm saying, where focus is really important. Creating pillars of content where you can be in the position where you're just having a natural conversation. If you can edit that so you take out a certain chunk, that might be the perfect answer that one person needs at the time to buy from you. And they may go, that's the only hurdle I had. Can I have some life insurance, please? Crazier things have happened.
Yeah, sure.
You know, but if you don't create habits within your life to and this is another part of creating content that I haven't even discussed yet. What we're talking about here is creating content. The other part of doing content is documenting it. What I'm doing here is documenting it. I'm focused on adding value to you. I'm not thinking about what do I say to the camera. It's just by proxy that we're filming it. Because I know it's probably going to be quite likely that I come across certain sections. I can already tell you the bit where I'm going creator or consumer here is probably going to do quite well. Because it's very visual and it's me dancing backwards and forwards and I'm giving you a very visual difference. And that's why I moved. Because did you notice earlier when I was talking about creators I was stood here and when I was talking about consumer I took here? Because you're naturally going to say, okay, well consuming's here, creating's into there. And this is what I mean about creating visual difference sometimes. But that's when you're starting to optimize what you're doing. The stage you guys are at is, let's get started. So that's a great segue to, let's get started. I will. I mean, I was kind of enjoying, I was enjoying how cool it was, but it's fine. We'll go back to boiling and it being really good and crispy for the audio. I'll do it for the content, it's fine. Have I pressed it right? Have I done it right?
No, it's a bit funny. Thomas was like, do you want to call it up?
No Wi-Fi, aircon, content.
I know.
Sometimes I think I've switched it off and I go to leave and I'm like, stop.
I just think it's Casper pressing the button.
Do you get electricity there?
In addition,
I was just going to say, because you're into it, they can't find the...
You could totally do
Just
that.
leave it on. And they'll go, it's really, the electricity lights up. Well, if you've got some Wi-Fi, maybe I can just turn it on.
So, in the pages in front of you, you have your script. But that's not what it is. It's a guidance for the video you're about to create. Now, what everyone just did in their head, and some people did in person, was, oh shit, right? Whether you agree that with me or not, doesn't matter. That's what you did. So let me tell you a very simple principle to start creating videos. It's called the 5-second rule. Mel Robbins came up with this concept called the 5-second rule. Our brain is designed to keep us alive. Okay? It only knows how to do that if it has evidence. Right? So why are we scared of creating videos, being public speaking, talking to someone we like, especially when they're not with us, etc., asking out a date, etc.? Because we don't have evidence to know that we don't die. From a simple tribal point of view, that's what your brain's doing. It's going, this thing, I don't know if it doesn't kill me. Because if we go back to tribal times, going into a wood could kill you, right? Doing something outside of your comfort zone could mean you got eaten by a saber-toothed tiger or murdered by another tribe. Or, in this case perhaps, killed by Casper. Don't think Casper would do it, but anyway. So how did Mel Robbins help her clients get to the point where they could do anything? It's very simple. Do it within 5 seconds. As in, I'm going to create a video, press, right, I'm recording the video. Because what happens is, your brain doesn't have the chance for its survivalistic instinct to kick in. And go, why are we doing this? This is a bad idea. It doesn't have the chance. Because you're just acting. Right? If you want to jump in a cold shower, you want to have a cold shower, or you happen to be having a cold shower, don't sit there and go, I'm going to have a cold shower. Because then your brain's going to go, but it's going to be cold, it's going to be uncomfortable, I'm not going to like it, I'm going to hyperventilate. Just go into the shower.
That doesn't work. I did it the other day. I had a power cut and I was like, I need to shower, I've got to go in the shower. And I just went in there and I nearly died.
Now, it's not going to stop the shock that happens, and that's a different conversation, right? So with the cold shower example, getting you in the shower will work in under 5 seconds. You're in the shower. Then you have to control your breath.
Why didn't you do that?
Because what happens when we're really what happens when we have really cold showers is we go,
Yeah.
right? What you should and the same happens when we're nervous, the same happens when we're concerned, the same happens when, we get butterflies. The physiological response to being excited and nervous are identical, right? What actually happens to your body is the same, right? So there's 2 ways to fix this. Number 1, whenever you feel nervous, just think you're excited, because your body's not going to be able to tell the difference, because it's literally not. The physiological response is the same, right? Having butterflies, sweaty palms, etc.
It is, I can recommend a book of Dare for that.
Right?
Yeah.
But also, I've been teaching clients recently the pause technique when it comes to delivering. The issue with some starting videos, and you've all probably consumed it and had it, is you go, right? The way to get around that is really simple. When you deliver a point, breathe in, then deliver your next point. The reason why you fill the gap is because you're nervous and concerned and you're not confident enough to go, I don't care if there's a silence. One of the most powerful techniques I learned when speaking was you don't need to speak like this and you don't need to speak really, really fast. You don't have to deliver at the same speed, tone, and it actually doesn't matter if you stop. The only issue with stopping is if your mind and you go, shit, what am I going to say next? Shit, these people think I'm crap. Shit, what if I get it wrong? Key one on that end one, who knows if you got it wrong? You don't know what I'm going to say next. How do you know it's not wrong? How do you know it's right? I don't even know what I'm going to say next. So it can't be wrong or right. And that's why I said to you earlier, it can't be wrong. The only reason why it's wrong is because you've told yourself it's wrong. No. I said to the ladies before we started, this workshop will probably be quite different to the first one. That's why I think it's valuable doing it over and over and over again. The fundamentals and how I planned it is the same. What I go into detail on, how I articulate it, very different. Because I'm not scripting it and I'm not worrying about, is it wrong? All I'm focusing on is, okay, this is the concern, this is the problem. How would I tackle that if I was helping a client or if I was trying to do it myself? So, what I want you to do now is the scary bit, right? Within 5 seconds, pick up your phone, open your phone, and start recording a video. If you'd feel more comfortable, you can use outside, but it is going to introduce a very different conversation because of lighting differences, which is going to make the job harder. If you want to do that, feel free. But the goal of doing this is to just get into the habit of starting to create. Don't worry about what you wrote down yet. Don't worry about any of that. All you're going to do, pick up your phone, tell it something. Start talking, say about your cats, your dogs, your day, your breakfast, your dinner, what you're planning to do when you get home tonight, what you've got going on next week, what you're really excited about, what you're worried about, what you're concerned about. It might be the video that you create. The point of this is to get you into the habit of doing it. But you have to do it within 5 seconds of making the decision. Because if you don't, your survivalistic brain will kick in and go, this is a bad idea.
Mine's saying that already.
Because you've waited longer than 5 seconds.
I only got out of it.
Just act.
Because I find it more nerve-wracking with people here than I do just go do it.
Even though we're all talking about
Feel free to go see Casper if you wish.
Yeah.
JFDI.
Are we not going to do this together when we do it? I think it'd be practice for us.
I think what you should do is both create separate videos around the same topic, and then what we'll do is we'll review them as consumers.
Yeah, which one's better?
Yeah, no, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. So both create different videos, because then what you can do is you can actually cross-reference and say, actually, I like what you did here. I like what you didn't do here.
Oh my god, I don't know about you guys reviewing it. It's not about that yet. We just got to do any kind of.
It's just starting, talking about the day, talking about your dog, talk about your family, talk about what you're doing at the weekend.
I want to do my question.
If it's easier, do the question.
Out here.
Do my question, I might answer.
Right.
The point is to start doing it.
Yeah.
If it's easier to talk about the question, then talk about the question. If it's easier talking about what you did at the weekend, talk about what you did at the weekend. This week, this month, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Sure.
Been one of those weeks this week.
I've had some medical problems. Can I get cover? Well, the simple answer is yes, of course you can get cover. Medical insurance will cover just about anybody. So give me a shout. I don't know.
That wasn't hard, was it?
No.
That was really good.
That was excellent.
Right, and the key point about doing this in a group, as why Galen didn't want to do it in here, is because what's going to happen in your own head is you're going to go, what, everyone else is going to judge me. The thing you need to remember here right now is this is a safe space to not be judged on how bad this video is.
Oh, my level of narcissism is fine with this. I think they're all judging me, and I'm amazing.
So literally just get over the hurdle of doing it. Like literally just do it. No, again, you're thinking, just do it.
I did do it last time, and this time
Okay,
it's because Galen ran away.
Nikki,
Yeah.
breathe in, breathe out, then do it.
No, I can't. Not
I won't
really
even look at you.
watching.
I won't even look at you. I'll turn my back.
Just do their own thing. Everybody just do their own thing. Because I don't have anything to say and I can't think of any words.
What's your favourite activity to do?
Watching Formula 1.
There you go, talk about Formula 1.
I'm pretty sure she can do that very well.
Talk about Formula 1. And talk about Formula 1 as if you're telling a friend
Have you done it?
Oh, do we all get to watch it now?
in a minute. So talk about Formula 1 for a minute.
Okay, but it's doing it in a quiet room where everyone's like just.
I'll tell you what, we'll do a game. Everyone who still needs to create a video, get ready. I'm going to count you in, all do it at the same time. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Hey, how the hell are you doing? You are having a great day. Positive thinking. That's what it's all
Am I going to die? And the answer is no. Actually, it's normal to feel a bit of tension straight after an adjustment, but it feels amazing when you get yourself adjusted. So come on.
Me?
No, him. Oh, it's
That's why I
really
went out.
hard.
That's why I went out.
Mm.
Because I'm a multitasker, so if I started recording a video and talk, I'm actually more interested in listening to what they're saying, so then I freeze and I'm like, oh. That's why I just went out and just did it.
Yeah, that's right.
So the reason why you do it in this scenario is this is a harder scenario to create a video than what you're actually going to do it in,
So I did this last time.
right?
As did I, but no one saw it last time. I think that might be the disturbing news that has stopped me in my tracks this time.
So for those who didn't do your question, in a minute you need to do your question,
Yeah.
right? And if you did do your question, watch back what you just did, and ask yourself, what 2 things can I do to make it better and more impactful for the audience? Not what you think's better. What do you think? We're talking about that emotional connection we want to have with our audience, right? So if you did create the video, how can you make that video more impactful for the audience you're talking to? Is it a word you've used? Is it how you talk? Is it how fast? Do you talk too fast?
I definitely did.
Do you pause and don't actually do the video?
Okay, I paused and didn't do the video. I have all the examples.
I've had some medical problems. Can I get cover? Well, the simple answer is yes, of course you can get cover. Medical insurance will cover just about anybody. So, give it a shout. Probably
You know what?
slightly less casual.
I'll tell you what, that would grab me more than something that was serious. I really like that.
The thing is, it's about creating something in your own personality. If you're naturally serious and you naturally, like, I'll give you an example.
I'm not.
People say to me all the time, why do you swear in content? Because I swear naturally. Right? So if you don't like swearing, we're not going to get on anyway.
That's why we get on. I couldn't work out what it was.
Oh, there's no other reason, just because he swears. Anyway, it's about being authentic to you, right? So if swearing is authentic to me,
You relaxed.
that's going to piss some people off. Fine, they're not my people anyway. That's cool. If you talk casually or with slang or with some rimum or etc., then do that normally. The mindset you should have when you create content is, I'm talking to my ideal client. They've just asked me this question. I'm facilitating the answer.
What's really annoying though is I feel like I could do that until I try to do that.
So the hurdle you have is you've got
You can do it if it wasn't the camera, you can do it with the
The
person.
idea seems like makes perfect sense. really.
so
Maybe I might
the
do that, and then I-
so the issue you're running into is you haven't done it enough,
Oh yeah, that's definitely.
right? Because you're still in that part of your brain where it instantly triggers the I'm going to die bit, right? You haven't done it enough to give your, because again, we're talking about evidence in your brain. The moment your brain understands, me doing this video doesn't result in me dying, right?
Yeah.
You won't feel the same way.
Other than of embarrassment.
Yeah, but that will also go as well, right? I'll give you an example. If you go back and watch my first talk from the year, you will tell that all it took was for me to do a few more. Because if you look at today and you look at then, you will see a drastic difference between the two. But the only way I knew for a fact, the only way I was going to get from here, where I was, don't know what I'm talking about, etc. And you guys might not think it's very bad. I look at it and go, right? So here is because I took step. What did I do wrong? What can I do better? Step. What can I do wrong? What did I do better? So on, so on. Till I got here. What am I going to do after this? One of the benefits of recording whatever you do is I can now sit back and analyze what I did. I go, okay, so to move here, what do I need to do? This is how you can aggressively get better at something, because you just force yourself. There's a level of just you have to force yourself to do it. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's awkward. Yes, you're going to giggle. Yes, you're going to be embarrassed. Fine. But embrace that. Make that part of the fun of doing it. Open the video, go, well, this is embarrassing, isn't it? But I think it's really important that you should know. Right? Make it part of the character. right? Everyone has a persona when they talk to a certain set of people, right? Whether you realize it or not, you do. The same is true when you create content. My content personality is just a energized version of me. Right? I'm already an energized, people who know me know I'm already energized already. But I just put it a little bit further up when I'm on content because that's my style of creating content. It's not about emulating my style, it's about finding your own. The only way you're going to find your own is through trial and error. In the same way, when I was going from here to here, I had to make a shit ton of mistakes to get to here. I didn't just suddenly go, done one talk, I'm fucking amazing. Right? Because I had to fall and trip and fall and trip and fall and trip. And I had to take the feedback on board. Some of which I took on board, some of which I didn't. And the reason behind that is because I went, if I turn into this person that this piece of feedback is going to turn me into, is that authentic? Some of it wasn't. So I went, okay, I'm going to disregard that. It's still valid feedback, but it's not the person I want to become. Right? But the bits I went, actually, that's a really good idea. Right? Oh, that's actually really cool. Right? Like, I haven't even opened up some of the ideas I've got from giving talks. Right? Right? Because they're still planned for next year and I haven't had the time or resources to do them yet. But some of the plans is hilarious. And they come from the skills I've learned from talking like this. And this is what I'm saying, it's a constant evolving cycle. But what happened, and the reason why confidence is so important, is the more you do it, the more confident you'll have when you do something base level again. Right? So if you're used to doing it on a video, when you have a conversation, you'll become so much more confident in your beam. Because you've just done something a lot harder. Right? If you're used to being interviewed, or you're talking on a stage, you're talking in front of people, the second you're talking one-on-one, well, that's easy. Because we just had a conversation with 50 people. Or in front of 20 people. So again, it's about building that progression path for you. And again, as we've talked about before, the higher you can perceive your value is perceived, because that's all it is, it's just perceived value, it's not even value, because down to each person will be down to the value you provide, is the monetary value you can attach to your service. What's the difference between someone who charges £100 to £10,000? You tell me. What's the difference?
Perceived value. Probably the experience, the exposure. It's the confidence, actually.
Or is it the transformation that you believe that they're going to be able to give you? This is what I said. People will buy from emotion. They buy from an emotional attachment to the transition that you all provide people with. Every single person in this room provides a level of transition from point A to point B. Our A and B are going to be very different. We still provide a transition. Right? The larger or how easy that transition is comes down to then the perceived value that is added to that. The perceived value of a coffee shop, because they provide me a coffee, is low in comparison to how to make lots of money. Right? In the same way, if you're trying to create a video, and that's something you really want to do, in comparison to someone who doesn't, well, one has higher perceived value than the other, surely. Because the person who doesn't want to create video in the first place, and not a psychologically not confident enough, as in they just don't do it because it's not valuable for their business, too complicated. Financial advisors is a key example. The hoops a financial advisor would have to jump through to do video is just not worth their time. It's just not. It would be great, don't get me wrong, to work with financial advisors. Because, I'll be honest, they've got money. Right? And it's very easy to make them money with video. That's not the hard bit. The hard bit is making sure it's compliant. And that's the process that's going to take time, energy, and resources. And that's probably why most financial advisors marketing is the most dry thing on the planet, because they have, in the same in your industry, you'll know this specifically, you have to follow specific things. You have to make it very clear, you do this, you're probably going to lose your money. It's not the same in any other industry.
I put a paid advert out once and I had to put it through compliance. There was more disclaimer by double than there the advert, I was like, I can't put this out. This is ridiculous.
And this is where industry specific is challenging. But if you're in an industry where you can create video, and I still believe you can create video, you just have to be more careful with how you do it. And you have to go through a more approval process, which means, in most cases, you should probably just batch record a load of stuff so you can send a load of shit to approval and then create some more stuff. Because then you've got a cycle, right? So for you specifically, it's send a load of shit to approval, create a load more. By the time something's come back from approval, you've got stuff to post. Then you can send the stuff you've just created while you're waiting on approvals to approve, and so on, right? And because then you can be so far ahead, it doesn't matter. Because then you can still be consistently posting, which is the point I made at the very beginning, which was be consistent. Once you've got this skill set, it's up to you how you use it. I'm not saying post every day. I'm saying post consistently on a schedule. That could be once a week, that could be once a month, that could be once a year. However, the more you post, the more chances that content is going to, one, go viral, or two, connect with the right person at the right time. The reason why my brand is perceived in the way it is because of how much content I have online. I have a huge archive of content that constantly talks to clients.
Where do you put your content? On YouTube, or you put it on Facebook?
YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn.
But what I was getting at was, would you put it on say YouTube and then share that YouTube onto the other
No.
Or do you just do it separately on each thing?
So the reason why you don't want to share a specific YouTube video on LinkedIn, for example, is LinkedIn's going to bury that post, because what does LinkedIn not want you to do?
Leave their platform.
Right.
Well, they don't want you to leave the platform, but more importantly, they don't want someone to go from LinkedIn to YouTube, which is a competitor of LinkedIn from an attention advertising point of view.
Sure, okay.
So what they're going to do is, this is sending us off platform to a competitor, goodbye. So it's very simple. Take the same video, post it on LinkedIn as a video. There you go. It will then be fed to the algorithm. Same with Instagram, same with Facebook, same with TikTok, same with YouTube. Now, there's ways you should be, as I said at the beginning, this is where your media data, your copy, and your hashtags come in, because that's going to tell the platforms, hey, this is the audience I want you to give it to. If you're quite vague or you use quite loose terminology, it's just going to have to guess. And it's just going to have to send it out to a random audience that may or may not like the content. And all that's going to happen is it's not going to care, but your content is going to suffer because it's going to be sent to the people who aren't going to resonate with it. Which then by proxy isn't going to get watch time, likes, views, shares, which in turn means it's going to not go in high in the algorithm because the first audience is just going to go, right? So we're going to do the second practical exercises now. And it will quickly follow the third and the fourth. And there's a very specific reason why you sandwich it like that. Because it circumvents your brain getting in the way. So now, for those who haven't done the question, now is your time to do the question. For those who have done the question, now is the time to take some feedback that you've thought about and see either do it differently, try a different style, try something else, or just change a word. Then do this. Now, don't do anything and do the same thing again. Literally within a minute or within a second afterwards. So you finish one video, you do the next one. Then you watch both. And then you do the feedback process again, and then you do it one more time. Again, don't think about it, just do it. When you feel you're ready, just do it. If you want to go out the room, go out the room.
Everyone leaves the room. I am going to go stand and hold it. It's just other people's faces and a distraction. Or something like that.
Are you going to hurt me when you crack my neck?
That's fine, so what's the answer? No, I'm not.
I've had some medical problems. Can I get cover? Yes, of course you can. Medical insurance will cover all sorts of people, even if they've had pre-existing medical conditions. Medical problems. Can I get cover? Yes, of course you can. Medical insurance will cover all sorts of people, even if they've had pre-existing medical conditions.
Be sure to talk to me.
Yeah.
But ensure you speak
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, then you can start having fun with it, right?
Office setting.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Colton Brunton. I run Brunton Media in Salisbury, and today, as you may have guessed, we're going to talk about video. Preferably, I'm going to try and teach you how to actually create content through your phone. But the first question I wanted to open with was just a quick introduction, so we can all get to know each other a little bit more. And also so for me, I can get to know the context of the business as well, so I can potentially give you some really good advice, very industry specific if I can. But also the question I want you to answer is: have you tried video before? So should we start at the back of the room with Galen? That'll be the easiest way, and then circle around.
Okay, yeah, so you'll know me. I'm Galen, do content writing services, so I'm a copywriter and do content as well online. I have never done video marketing in my business before because it scares me. But obviously Instagram Reels are a huge thing right now and probably something I should be doing. And probably more videos of myself to really put a face to my business out there online. So that's me.
Hi, I'm Nikki. You guys all know me already as well, but my other business is On Track Business Support, and I also don't do videos for the exact same reason. They scare me.
Who would like to go? Sam?
Yeah, I'm Sam. I am part of a family printing company. I haven't done video marketing, but I'm definitely keen to do it with all of the machinery that I've got. So
Good.
I am Fiona, I am a photographer
Fantastic.
and I have done video, do video potentially. I've taken to doing Instagram Reels, every other post on Instagram, but if I can avoid being in them I am. And I've started procrastinating about them, and which I do generally with social media. I kind of keep it up for a while and think, oh, I don't know, busy enough. And then so that's where I'm at the moment. I'm like, I need to do one because I can't post my other post until I've posted my reel, because otherwise my grid will live on.
That's a separate conversation that we may or may not get into later on.
Ryan, RPM, balancing and detailing. It's obviously quite a visual end product of what I do. I tend to use stills a lot. I have done some video before. I do have a YouTube channel, but I don't use it. I don't populate it. It's just kind of there to be part of all the social stuff that I've got. The videos that I have done tend to have been what I walk around to the cars, but I haven't really done it for a long time. Same as a lot of yourselves, I don't really flip the camera and be engaging with me and people buying into kind of the service that I deliver and who's delivering the service. It's more about the end product, the end result of what I do and what I do. So maybe I need to think about that a little bit more. Reels, yeah, I've not done them. I've used an app called Splice a couple of months ago to kind of come up with a video, but it wasn't very good, I don't think. So I need to improve on that and really sort of look at doing reels and other ways, I suppose, to maximise video for business.
Fantastic. What about you both, ladies?
I'm Shira, and I'm a wellbeing coach, and I also do aromatherapy, massage and things like that. I haven't had the confidence to do it. I have tried and done a few things and then deleted them. It just feels very false, stunted, not natural. So, yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
I'm Claire, I run Dorset Coast Royals, and I'm seeing more use of video in my industry area, and it, everything that everyone said already applies to me too. So.
Fantastic. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to ask that is because I don't want to waste your time, right? So the crux of why you should use video, everyone's I think established on, is because we can have that personal connection without trading time, right? But the thing I'm going to really focus in on today is the confidence aspect of it, because it seems to be a really common trait among the group. There's a lot of mindset work that one needs to do if they're going to be on video, right? So a lot of the questions around how do I look, how do I sound, what am I going to talk about, can be really remedied by, number one, planning what you're going to do, right? That helps. I don't mean necessarily script the whole thing. I just mean come up with an idea, right? So a live stream is a key example of this. Traditionally, a live stream was, right, we're going to press live. Okay, we're going to wait for some people to join. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to wait for people to join. And then I'm going to wait for some questions. But the problem with that is you haven't given them any context. You haven't given them any content. You haven't delivered anything. So how can someone ask you a question? So one of the things you need to do in marketing is you need to firstly understand who you're trying to target, right? So what do you want to do from your marketing, right? In layman's terms, it's I want to get more work, or I want to get more awareness, or I want to get more knowledge around what I do, okay? Fantastic. But that's the really easy answer. So what's below that, right? What's actually going to get you, because everyone in this room, if you take your own personality away from your business, what's going to stand you apart? So not your personality, so it's not you, which at the moment we haven't shown from what it sounds like in the room. So why should I go to anyone in this room over going to someone who does exactly the same as you? What's the distinguishing factor that there isn't one at the moment technically, right? Because the reason why someone would choose going to me over going to someone else who does what I do is because they like my approach. Problem is, if I never show you my approach, you don't know what my approach is, so you can never be in the position where you either like it or don't. The thing is about target audiences is you need to choose, and it's like in life, etc., right? Like you personally aren't going to connect with everyone, but also in business, you don't want everyone. So suddenly you'll realize once you actually lean into this and believe in this, you'll suddenly go, well, why am I worried about so-and-so being a keyboard warrior? Why am I worried about this person who's anonymous saying that my content's rubbish or not very valuable? But also the other way it says, right? Like it's not my job to decide what's valuable. It's the person consuming's job. So what I would say from a confidence point of view is there's a certain level of you just have to do it, right? Which we'll get onto a little bit later on. But also you need to ask yourself about why you're having those hurdles yourself from a psychological point of view to go, well, why don't I? Why do I care what people think? Why do I care? Like, are you either doing it to increase the likelihood your business is successful, or are you doing it because of a vanity metric of I want to be famous, or I want to have social media followers, or I want to gain likes, or whatever? Nothing wrong with any of these answers, but honestly ask yourself, what do you want from it? If you're doing it for work and you're doing it to get more work out of what you're doing, then you have to do it. And in the nicest way possible, you have to put your big or girl pants on and just get it done. Because it's not going to suddenly be easy until you do it, right? Like me giving this workshop or me giving talks and me giving talks. If you had talked to me at the start of the year, I would have gone, no, don't be silly. But now I know it's the path that I need to go to grow what I'm trying to do. So it's like, okay, is this uncomfortable at the beginning? Yes, it is. But why does that matter, right? Am I being authentic to myself, and am I going to hopefully add value to you? Because that's what matters. This uncomfortableness for me is part of the process in becoming comfortable in whatever it is that you're doing. You can use a video today as the example, but I'm sure you've had it with clients. Oh, I don't want to be on camera. No. Don't take my photo. No, don't do that. You know. So the question is, like, why do you think you're not going to look your best? Now, I don't need to know those answers, but you do, right? Because it doesn't matter to me, but it will matter to you and it will matter to your audience, because if you're going to be authentic to yourself, which is where social media is now going, with the changes to iOS, with the changes to cookies coming, etc., the concept of having targeted advertising is going away. It is becoming harder and harder and harder and harder and harder to do, right? Which means advertising and marketing, actually I think is a good thing, is going to have to become, you buy from me because you like me. You buy from me because you trust my opinion. You buy from me because you see me as an authority figure in video, right? Or in whatever you do. Where you could potentially get unstuck is where you yourself don't believe you're an authority figure. And that's probably, if you really ask yourself honestly, you don't believe you're an authority figure. Now that's fine, but now you know what you need to do. You need to ask yourself, why do you not think you're an authority figure? Right? Now, there's a fine line here that you need to ride, right? Because it can quite quickly get to egotistical territory, right? But that's, again, not your decision to make. To some people, I'm egotistical. To other people, I'm confident. I'm the same person. I do the same thing. So either am I or not? But it's all perception, right? So it's not, again, and hopefully the part of this talk that hopefully you'll enjoy and get from, is it's not your responsibility for people to either care or not. Create content that talks to the person you want to talk to, and by proxy you will alienate the person you don't want to talk to, but you need to be okay with that. Because otherwise you're just shouting into the void hoping someone listens, but you're actually not saying anything at all, because you don't have an opinion. And you're not saying, actually, no, this is why you need to do it this way, right? So, I'll give you an example. I'll use your example with will writing. If I don't have a will, to you, that's like, it's not great, it's not great. For me, I'm like, well, I'm still young. The likelihood I die is possible, yes. Impossible, no. Unlikely, yeah. So why should I have a will? But until I'm educated on like how me not having a will right now is a problem, then I don't know I don't need a will. Because you don't know what you don't know. Right? It's the same with what you do, Gilly, right? If someone doesn't understand the value of SEO, or doesn't understand of written content, or even images, or even what I do, why do they not? They don't know they need to do video. They don't know they need photography. They don't know they need blog content. Like, if my car's, I'll use Ryan as an example. If my car is always dirty, I don't know what it's like clean. Right? If I just wash it with a sponge, I don't know what it's like when it's been detailed. Right? Like, so it's about, like, when you create content, it's about saying, hey, look, I want your attention over here because I'm trying to tell you something really important. It's not about, look at me, I'm amazing. I'm the vehicle to educate the client or the target market on whatever it is I do. Just so happens to be me doing it. And once you're in that mindset, it will start to remove yourself from my camera. Oh, I don't like the way I look. Which is fine and is completely normal, right? But that isn't important. Like, and I hate to be brutal, but it doesn't matter. How you look doesn't matter. Whether you're the most beautiful individual in the world, and you all are in your own right, there's always going to be the person on the internet who goes, well, they could have worn more makeup. Why is he wearing a hat? That hat doesn't suit him. Why is he wearing a tie? That hat doesn't suit him. Why is he wearing a waistcoat? It's going to happen. Whatever you do, it's going to happen, right? Whether I'm wearing shorts, whether I'm wearing a suit, whether I'm wearing a waistcoat, whether I'm wearing a hat, whether I'm not wearing a hat, whether my hair's green, blue, whatever. But the question you need to ask yourself, if you really want to get into it, is why are they doing that? What's wrong with them? What crap have they had to deal with? So that you are the thing they're venting towards, right? And this is when people start on social, and the reason why I mention it here is because they have these hurdles in their head, and they go, "I'm not going to do that because." Hopefully, after today, you'll have less becauses, because the opportunity isn't going to go away completely, but the opportunity to get a lot of attention quickly is going to go away. Gadian asked me a couple of days ago to talk about Instagram Reels and talk about TikTok. And I can't, technically Jenny asked me to talk about Instagram Reels, but I can't talk about Instagram Reels and not talk about TikTok. Because the only reason why Instagram Reels exist is because of TikTok, right? Now for a long time, TikTok was a dirty word in the marketing space, right? It was a Chinese company that was only for lip syncing and dancing, right? And it was when it was Musical.ly. And for anyone who consumes our content, you'll know the backstory on that. But the crux of what it is now is it's a culture of content. There's photographers on it, there's detailers on it, there's copywriters on it, there's wall writers on it, there's videographers on it. Every single industry has a culture related to it. TikTok calls it culture talk. You can call it what you like. It's a sub-niche within TikTok itself. Same is true on Instagram, same is true on YouTube Shorts, the same is true on YouTube. Every platform has a culture within it. Same with LinkedIn. You can be very specifically tailored around that because you're only going to choose who you're going to connect with, right? So if you only want to talk to lawyers, just connect with lawyers. Suddenly all of your connections are lawyers. There we go. The crux in that is firstly consume a load of stuff. If you want to know how to create it and you want to know what's engaging, go on TikTok. How people have their phones on them? Everyone? Fantastic, okay. So we'll do the first practical exercise. Who doesn't have TikTok on their phone? Okay, first step, let's get TikTok on everyone's phones.
Oh, really? I love it.
I just share it.
I'm sick of
I watched this lady sleepwalking all the time. Do you know the lady?
Not personally, but, you know.
You showed me.
I'm intrigued.
If I have room left. It's creaking.
I don't want it very often, but...
That's what she says publicly.
Selena Spooky Boo.
Means nothing to me, but...
Yeah, we're not that.
I mean, the fact that half the room didn't have TikTok on their phone kind of makes me gather they probably don't know a person on TikTok.
Do you know what? She's the reason I downloaded it, because it was on Facebook, on the, the things that now are on Facebook. And I was like, what's this sleepwalking thing? I found it hilarious, and I was like, oh, she's on TikTok. Oh, I don't have TikTok. I'll just watch her.
See, my main issue with TikTok is that I always refuse to have it because my husband's always sat on it and doesn't play with the kids. So that's where I'm at, like...
Okay, so that's a different conversation entirely, right? That's about setting boundaries on phones in the family dynamic, right? We can go into that, but
that's the reason why I haven't got that on my phone.
But from a purely business and a marketing point of view, it's free attention, unfortunately, right?
I get it.
It is rapidly going to eclipse Instagram if it hasn't done already in viewership. In regards to like people who use the app every day, it's very close if it hasn't already eclipsed Instagram.
Oh, I've got 2 followers.
Unfortunately, I do it.
I'm not seeing much.
Yeah, I have no video.
Oh, mine's else though. Is anyone else done it?
No, still arguing.
Are we going to shut down their Wi-Fi now?
As I say, we're just blowing out their Wi-Fi all the way, trying to download TikTok all at the same time.
I mean, this is why I'm not a fan of TikTok. I've got 2 followers, never posted anything. One of them is called Randy
Great
Med.
account, right?
Randy Nick.
Randy Med.
Randy Man.
This is why I like TikTok. Like, how random is this? That house in London.
I've seen that before.
Have
It
you?
widens up at the other end. It's not all that skinny.
I don't. It says turn on mobile data or use Wi-Fi, and I don't know what to do.
You should be able to get on Wi-Fi here.
There should be
There is a free
a
Wi-Fi.
woodpecker guest one. Do you want me to come over, Claire?
Yes, please. One
I'll
step
send that
further.
I would freak my son's girlfriend out by following her. He's just blocked up. That's true. Oh, okay. Interesting.
We weren't expecting such a large part of the thing to be.
It's just going to say, it's going to have a tick box. So just do the tick box and then click connect. Do you want me to? Are you on there?
Oh, there it is, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Someone's definitely on TikTok.
Do I need to do around the video? He's my other follower.
I've got 5 followers.
No
Check
way.
you out. I've never posted a video.
That's going to change today, I'm afraid.
Oh.
No.
You're going to be TikTok famous.
Wash my hair.
I'm even more scared now.
I wish I hadn't left the top down on the way here down there.
You see, the things you're already worrying about before you've even got the content, right? So this is where you've got to start working on your mindset to go, actually, me having white hair or me having not perfect hair or me not having perfect this or perfect that doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, the content that you're going to deliver is the bit that's important. Everything else is surface level rubbish. Right? Even where you're stood, excluding the stuff I'm going to go over later when we do the practical bit, and even that, some of it's even technically like if the audio's alright, you'll be alright. If you're a black square, it might be a little bit more challenging, but anyway. The crux of it is about getting into the habit of doing it and documenting what you're doing every day, right? A lot of it is about, sometimes we go, oh, I have no content because I haven't planned any. Why do you need to plan it? What happens in your day-to-day that you have a thought and go, this would be a really good idea of content? When you rewire your brain to go, I've got a thought, I'm going to bleh, whether that's a video on your phone that you then use later or directly onto TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, wherever else you're going to post it, then you can be in the position where you don't need to worry about where's my content coming from. Something that we do all the time is we try to document everything that I'm doing, whether it's a talk like this or just in a meeting or etc. Or if there's a specific thing that I'm like, actually that's a really good takeaway, let me write it down. After that meeting, I will go delivery, save, edit it later. But that's because I want to have the post editor control. For you, pick up your phone, talk, post, done. If you start doing that process, the idea of posting, by the time you're about a month in, will not be intimidating for you. Because it will just be part of your routine. Whenever we start anything, it's always a bit, ooh. Right? Imagine when you first rode a bike. You weren't exactly zipping down the road, were you? You were going, oh, I don't know, oh, I don't know. Oh. That's the same with content. It's the same with anything that we do, right? But if you're not willing to invest the time, you're going to find it very hard to gain the benefits. And I think, and again, I don't want to liaise on the point about confidence so much, but it comes through doing it. There is no concept where I can go, here's your confidence pill. It's internal. It's an internal dialogue thing. It's an internal psychological thing that's like, hey, I'm going to do this thing, and I actually genuinely don't care about the outcome. And that's important, especially when you start out, because the reality of the fact is, the people that are going to watch your content at the start out is your family and friends, maybe a client or two, but that's it.
And that's the bit that worries me. I don't mind about people I don't know, or my clients. I'm talking to my clients who are very different to my family and friends, and that's the people that I get embarrassed about seeing it.
Mine's the family.
Yeah.
My family's seeing my videos.
Okay, but what makes you feel embarrassed about them seeing it?
I think they might think, oh, here she goes, showing off again.
Okay, okay, no, that's a fair point.
Surely that's a good thing, then, because that makes you more confident.
So let me flip that. Is it you're showing off, or is it you're proud of what you do?
I'm proud of what I do.
Okay.
None of my friends' business, none of my close friends, I've got some hands-on friends with this.
None of you in the room are my friends.
But none of my close friends that I know, just stop digging here. Anyway, none of my friends are business owners.
The second strike.
So by the end of the workshop, half the room will be gone, right? Fair enough.
And I don't think they get it. I think they go.
So the question I would have is, do they
really doesn't get it.
do they need to?
Friends, it doesn't matter whether they get it or not.
Is your friend are your friends going to pay you?
No.
Are your family going to pay you?
No.
Have
So-
you ever actually commented on any of your thing? Not
No.
on the actual thing, but to you and said, honestly, what were you doing? Or anything like that? Like, see, my creative speaking.
My brother has with me. He does not take my business seriously, but he's a big brother that likes to tease. And so I'm very aware that he could be viewing my video and he will use that as his next, when I next see him and he next comes down to visit, that will be his next thing. Like when I start with networking, and it's like, oh, we're doing networking tonight? And then once he's literally gone on a blog post and typed a load of random words. And so that's...
Now, I won't get into the family dynamic problem there, but the point I was going to make there is, why do you care that he's teasing you? Because let me theorise an example for you, okay? You do this, your brother teases you for this, but you gain loads of work.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Or you don't do this, and your brother teases you anyway?
Yeah.
About something else?
Yeah.
So what's the downside?
Yeah, I might as well just do it. Yeah.
He's a brother, that's his job. He's going to tease you no matter what.
Yeah.
At least you get a comeback with this. You can go, yes, but it earned me loads of money. So.
Yeah.
And especially if it earns you, like if it starts actually becoming a point where it's a genuine revenue stream for you in respect to like lead gen, and it's ridiculous amounts of lead gen, he will suddenly shut up, because if he realises that it's making you thousands of pounds, he'll go, fucking hell.
Yeah.
What the hell am I doing? Right? And it's all fun and games within reason, and that's why I opened the talk with either you're doing it for a legitimate business purpose or you're doing it because you want to. Neither of which are wrong, but just choose. If you're doing it for a business purpose, take it effing seriously, because it's your business. This is how you make your living. Either that's serious or it's not. And if it's not, I can't help you. If you want to take it seriously, then I can. But you can't let yourself stand in your own way. Because part of the issue that everyone has with starting content is, I want to go this way. Doesn't work until you let yourself take that step forward. It's up to you. I can give you every single tool in the book. It's up to you whether you continue to use it outside of this room. I can teach you how to create a video and all the fundamentals of how to create a video and how to choose a target audience and how to think about it. But you actually have to do it consistently for it to work. And this is the key thing with video. A couple of years ago, about 2012 backwards, you could do a promotional video and it would actually do a lot for your business. Because people would still have that wow factor. They're like, wow, that's incredible. And that's still good, but it's not going to print money in the way it used to. Because everyone has one. And times have changed. So now the question is, what are people not doing, right? As some of you may know, I run a podcast, and one of the best things I took from a couple of episodes back was with James from Shogun Social, and he said to me, I'm willing to do what 95% of businesses are not willing to do. So if that means being in content, he's willing to be in content. If that means doing an extra networking meeting when he's tired, or when he's done too much, then he'll do it. If that means pushing himself out of his comfort zone to give a talk to a bunch of execs, or give a sales pitch, or give a talk to a bunch of people, then he'll do it. My question to you is, what are you willing and what are you not willing to do? For the good of the business. Not the good of you, outside of the fact it will make you money and then you can potentially have a better life overall. But the crux and what I'm trying to get you to unravel in your head is why you had those confidence issues at the beginning. Because hopefully now you'll start thinking, what was I worried about? Right? And I think it would be interesting in a minute. I'm going to throw back to the room again, because I want to go around again. I want to ask, are you still confident? Or are you starting to are you still nervous about creating that content? And what I think, maybe not 100% yet, but you're going to start getting to the point where you're like, why was I worried? Right? I mean, can I just quickly get a show of hands? Who's still worried about the concept of creating content? Okay, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that, but okay, why? What's the hurdle? What are you worried about? Is it you still don't feel you've got the confidence?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I do it, and I have done it, but I don't do it easily.
I'll be honest with you, no one does it easily.
No. Perhaps I've got more confidence.
I'll be honest, this isn't easy, but doing anything in life isn't easy. Building a business isn't easy. Going to networking isn't easy. You know, I'm sure everyone is quite seasoned in networking in this room, but imagine that time when you first went to that first networking event. That first time, you've never gone before, you've just decided I'm going to do business networking. That was scary, wasn't it? I was like, fucking hell. Got to talk to human beings about what I do. No. Or the first sales conversation you ever had. the same thing. It's the same thing with content. You can go 10 years ago and see absolute car crash content from me. The reason why that still exists is because I want to show you, this is where I was 10 years ago, and this is where I am now. But that took 10 years. I'm not saying today you're going to go from there to here. All I want you to do is this. That's it. If you take the first step today, you're on the road. The first step is always the hardest. And my goal today is to give you all the tools so you can make that first step. But then it's up to you. If you want me to help you after that, great, cool, let's have that conversation. But at the end of the day, the person who's going to do it is you. The person who's also going to benefit from it is going to be you. Because to be honest with you, it doesn't matter to me. I've done my job, I've come what I said I would do. There we go, thank you very much. But the crux is, when are you going to take yourself seriously? As a business owner, or as a thought leader in your industry? Whichever one is harder for you to gravitate your head around right now. Because clearly everyone in this room has been in business long enough to be a thought leader. You just haven't made the decision to be that yet. Because if you're in business, you know enough to be in business. Otherwise you wouldn't be sat here now being in business. Right? So surely you've got more than enough information to become a thought leader. So what's the difference between a thought leader and you? The only difference is the thought leader articulates what they know consistently. And they have a level of prestige because they can talk in front of a room or whatever. But that's a credibility building thing that happens by doing it. As I said, when I started doing talks at the start of the year, was not comfortable at all. You can probably tell that if you look at some of the first talks we did this year. But I knew I had to get through that stage so I could be comfortable with this. I was going to say, are we on TikTok or?
It's taken me that long to get in.
Fantastic, we got there. Yes, yes. We're there, fantastic. I was like, I've heard this before. We must be on TikTok. So that.
I didn't search that.
And this is, it's funny you mentioned that. This is the thing about TikTok and why it's so powerful and why it was emulated by everyone else. Was because you didn't have to search anything. You open the app and go, been served content already.
Don't look kids.
And it will be content you like. Now the background behind that is very simple. What have I watched for longer periods of time? Right? I'll use the really simple analogy that I use in all my talks, which is, why is my FYP full of cats? Probably because you've watched Cats, Colin. Just saying. But the thing is, it's about understanding the algorithm is really simple. If you give it watch time, you'll be served more of it. So if you don't want to be served Cats, stop watching Cats. However much that might be heartbreaking. Maybe in your case you want to watch Puppy, I don't know. But you've got one in reality, so why you're on TikTok watching one is a separate conversation.
Or someone's sleepwalking.
Or someone's sleepwalking, I mean, I'm not judging, but anyway. The crux is, you can use TikTok in two ways. Either you can be a creator or you can be a consumer. What I'd recommend is you start being a consumer before you be a creator. Because it will allow you, especially if you want to really get into your own niche, start watching content in your niche. All right, so watch, I'll use me as an example, watch other filmmakers on TikTok and what they're going to create to give you an idea of what is already out there. There's a reason why we do market research at the beginning of a business and not at the end. Because we want to know, is it worth me all the time and effort and energy into becoming a video production company or a video marketing agency or a photographer or a copywriter, a will writer, detailer, etc. Because is the market oversaturated? Now, there's nothing wrong with it if it is, but you need to know that. In the same way, you need to know what's on TikTok. You need to know what's on Instagram. You need to know what's on Facebook. You need to know what's on YouTube. Right? TikTok specifically is where the attention is right now. In 5 years, it will still be there, it will still be relevant, but it will be a different platform. It's becoming an ad platform. Think early Facebook, think early Instagram. That's where TikTok's lifestyle is now. Think 2008 Facebook, 2008 Instagram. That's where TikTok is right now in its lifespan. In 5 to 6, and the same with LinkedIn. LinkedIn's still really, really, really organic driven because the ad platform hasn't grown enough yet where it can be like, hey, we're going to ask lots of money from you to do the same thing that you did 2 years ago for free. Simple supply and demand. When they have all the attention, they can suddenly go, if you want this amount of attention now, you're not going to get it organically. And this is what I mean by you can use TikTok now to gain ridiculous amounts of organic attention. Give it 5 years, you'll have to pay to get the same amount of attention. Nothing wrong with that. That's the evolution of the platform. Like, the reason why TikTok's got so popular is because it's starting to become mainstream. But imagine if you were on TikTok and you were one of the first copywriters, detailers, so on TikTok. What would have happened when this massive influx of users had come onto the platform and started using the app? Well, surely all your content would go, whew, right? But because it's oversaturated now, people are, oh, missed the boat. But what people don't appreciate is that niching down effect. You're not trying to talk to the 2.1 or 1.1 or whatever the number is on TikTok. You want that 1% that's potentially going to buy from you. Again, that takes time. Again, that takes energy. Again, that takes education. Yes. But who is that person to you? Who is that target market? Who is that person? And you can go really generic with it. It's a female in her 20s. Yes. Okay. Or it's a person with these interests. Because then you can tailor your content around what you're discussing. Right? Like, I speak to a business audience. Why? Why do you think? Why do you think I speak to a business audience in all of my content?
That's who you want to work with.
Because I have zero interest in getting famous. I have every interest in getting more work. Right? And that's what I mean by being very clear in your own mind about why you're creating the content. Are you doing it because you want likes, comments, fame, etc.? Nothing wrong with that. Is that why you're doing it? Okay. Or is it to be a lead gen for you? Is it something that you can get more work out of? Okay. Fantastic. But then, who is it? If it is something you want to get more work for, you then need to really ask yourself, who do you want to work for? Who are they? Where are they? Is it geotyped? For us, we have to be quite specific in where we're targeting geolocated wise, because we can only go within a region, right? In most cases, right? Of course, if someone wants to fly me out to America, feel free, right? But it's unlikely. So me connecting American relationships is part of a longer term plan, but I'm not expecting it to give me anything anytime soon, because that's not the point of why I'm doing it. The point of why I'm doing local networking or local content creation, especially in Salisbury specifically, is because I want to attract Salisbury businesses to say, hey, what's Carlton doing? Why should I care about what Carlton's doing? And the thing is, if someone comes to you, it's a very easier sell than you going to them. All right? And what can happen with content, especially if you're consistent, is you'll be front of mind to go in whatever you do. Right? So one of the things that we've seen is people think, because you should be memorable, people who talk about networking are always going to tell you to be memorable, right? So the things I want you to remember is Colton and video. That's it. Preferably a little bit more about me, ideally. But at a really, really crux level, they're the only two things I need you to remember. Because then whenever you think, oh, we need a video, or you hear someone that says, oh, you need a video, who's going to jump to mind first? There's plenty of other people who do what I do. There's not many who do it as consistently as I do it. Which is why I'm always going to come up first in your mind when you think video. You can have that same power if you're willing to commit to doing content. Now, I'm not saying you should commit to doing content at all, that's your decision. But if you're not willing to commit to it, you can't expect it to do anything for you. And unfortunately, it's like anything in life, in business, you have to put a lot of effort in at the beginning, get absolutely nothing. A lot more effort again, absolutely nothing. A little bit more effort, then absolutely nothing. Eventually what will happen is the right timing will be at the right place for the right people, and then you'll get some work. It will be very sporadic, very random. It will be, hey, I've been following your content for 6 months, really educational, really valuable, really enjoy it, you're part of my routine, we need to do a video campaign, can we have a conversation? Or we need a new promotional video, can we have a conversation? Or we're having issues with our culture, can we do some internal videos to help with that? Of course is the answer to all those questions. But how are you going to position yourself to be that go-to person? Right? I use the video example, replace it with whatever you do. Right? Because every single market in this room is hyper competitive. Same with mine. That doesn't mean you can't stand apart. And the reason why you can stand apart is because of you being you, not because you're just another video person. Right? So you can actually turn the thing that everyone in this room was really worried about, which is how do I look, how do I sound, how do I, so on, and turn it into your biggest asset. Because if you're authentic to yourself, which is where marketing is going, then you can be in the position to go, actually me swearing is not a big deal because I would swear normally. Okay, me walking and wearing this way, like wearing the clothes I would wear would be normal because that's how I'm going to look. Sometimes I don't wear makeup. Okay, but that's not a big deal because sometimes I don't wear makeup. Sometimes I wear this, sometimes I wear that. We're removing these boundaries where it doesn't matter because as long as you're authentic to yourself and you believe in yourself and you trust yourself and you love yourself, it doesn't matter. And then when you get that shitty comment on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, you'll then be able to go from a perspective of being empathetic instead of going, well, I got a shitty comment. Because you can go, well, what? Why is that person having a shit day? You can be empathetic and go, Christ, what happened to them? They've just wrote me a paragraph of why my life's terrible. In reality, what are they saying? That your life's terrible? And you just happen to be the catalyst. You just happen to be the thing that they open the app onto. So they go, you know what? Okay. Is that fair? No. Is that the anonymous internet culture? Yes. Unfortunately, right? Like, and to be honest, nowadays it's not even the I don't know who you are bit, because that happens in life anyway. Everyone will remember a situation or know a situation where they're in a position, whoever that may be in their life, or someone comes home, they've had a bad day, or your partner's come home and had a bad day and they take it on you, not because they want to, but because you're in a place of care with them. So they know you're not going to just crumble and, it's still not fair, but it's just what happens, right? And sometimes having that level of empathy and having that level of understanding to the other person can actually create you to be better as a human, but also create better content. Because you can empathize with your target audience at that point. So moving it slightly back to the content side of things, if you keep getting comments saying, I don't like this, okay, ask why. Why do they not like that? And ask yourself, okay, is this the person that I want to target? Is this the person I want to talk to? If it is, tweak the content. You're never going to get content right 100% of the time. You'll have one video that does really well for no reason. And then you'll have videos that you put your heart and soul into, and they get 4 views. And it's the most soul-crushing thing in the entire world. But this is why you need to understand and you need to really, really trust yourself and say, vanity metrics are not what's going to pay the bills. They're lovely, they're great, they're wonderful to have, but they're actually not that important. They're fine if you want to have a marketing campaign and you want those key performance indicators to say, well, this got this number of views and this did this and this did that. That's fine. They have their place. But what does it actually do for your business? I would rather have a video get 5 views, but 4 of those views, managing director, CEO. My mum. Right? It's probably likely. Instead of hundreds of thousands of views of people who are never going to hire me. Again, are you doing it for fame? Or are you doing it to create business? which you do. Neither's wrong, just make the decision. And then stick to it and commit to it. Because if you're doing it to grow your business, then you need to be very, very tactical in where you put it, how you put it there, and what content you're creating. Something that could work really well for you specifically is doing before and afters. So showing the raw before you've edited it, showing after. That I've seen work really, really well with photographers.
Yeah.
But that can be a thing to open to the room as well, right? If you're a very service-based industry, ask your client or do a case study and say, right, how was your business before we started working together, right? And then at the process, okay, now what are we saying? In your case, it's really easy. Dirty car, clean car, right? For each business, it can become quite harder to do that, but there's always ways if you think smart on the journey of doing it, right? Now, I'm not saying do it with every client. I'm not saying we do it with every project you have. I'm saying be open to the ideas that come and write them down. I promise you, don't think you're going to remember them, because you won't. Okay, you won't. So have an idea book, have an idea notepad, have an idea something. Have a whiteboard, have whatever your method is, it doesn't matter. Because it's yours. Again, like a lot of this is about create something that works for you. It's not about, is it going to work for me or not? It doesn't matter if it works for me or not. Because I've got my own method, right? But if you start documenting your ideas, when you get around to creating content, this is my content day, where I create content for social media, you won't be in the position of what I'm going to create. It'll be the question of what do I feel like creating, what do I want to create, because you'll have this long, long list, because you'll document all the ideas. Before we broke, I asked you to think about a question. So I just want to do a little bit of Q&A for about 5-10 minutes before we jump into the practical stuff. Has anyone got any questions? Specifically around the first half and what we discussed, and anything specifically you want me to go in a little bit more depth on?
Yeah, I have one.
Yep.
So obviously you mentioned TikTok and Instagram Reels, and obviously Instagram Reels come from TikTok.
They're inspired. They're inspired.
Which do you
Can't say copy for legal reasons, but they're inspired.
Which do you create the content for? Do you create it for TikTok and share it on your Instagram Reels, or do you put it on Instagram Reels?
So we create it with the portrait phone in mind. We don't actually create it for, this is for TikTok. If I was doing it to really we don't optimize what we're doing at all, because it's simply just a cost and a time benefit thing. Personally, what I'm doing at the moment is saying, right, here's a landscape version to go to Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube, and here's a portrait version to go everywhere else.
So you just upload it onto separate platforms,
Yeah.
video on separate platforms?
Same platform. And the reason why I do that is because 50 to 90% of the people who are going to consume it are not going to have seen it on the other platforms.
Yeah.
Right? Because yes, there's a percentage of people who will follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok. I'm sorry, the content's the same. Right? But from a simple time perspective and from just getting volume, because to an extent when you get content, you have to have a level of volume for it to work. The best way to do that is start having a load of volume, and it also increases your chances that one will get into the algorithm and one won't. I'll give you an example. The videos that sometimes go viral or get more coverage than I would expect on TikTok are not the same as the ones that do the same on Instagram, because they're different platforms and they're going to be served for different people. The principle is to creating a formula within your business or within what you're doing where you can document what you're doing, so the content of content creation becomes just so happens to be what you're doing, and then you have byproduct of social media content. It's not because traditionally it was very, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to talk to a camera now. And that's part of the reason why you don't like doing it, or you don't feel confident doing it, because you're upping the ante on what your expectations are. If you can just get to the point where you're documenting what you're doing and you're just I'm writing, I'm doing whatever, you'll get content out of doing that. Either that's ideas for content to create, or it's quite literally content. Because when you document, you're not thinking about content, you're thinking about the conversation you're having or whatever you're doing. I'm thinking about how can I add value to the room, not how can I create content out of it. Just so happens to be that I'm filming it, which means I can use it later. Because otherwise, this information stays inside this room. But now I can go, okay, great. The room got some great value, hopefully. But now I can go and give it to the internet in however many chunks I want. 1 chunk, 15 chunks, 20 chunks. And something that we were discussing in the break was you should create content eventually, not at the beginning, doesn't matter what you do at the beginning, just start doing it. But eventually what you should try and grow to is being in the position where it just so happens to be that you do the solution of what you're discussing. So don't say, hey look, I do this, or hey look, it's this. It's oh, this person needs this, and I can be the solution to their problems. So when you position yourself as the solution, it gives you 2 things. Number 1, leverage in a client conversation, and number 2, credibility to the market. As we were talking about earlier, how are you going to become a thought leader? The only difference between a thought leader and someone who's in business is a thought leader articulates their thoughts and a business owner holds them to themselves. Now, one of the common questions I get is, why do you give out so much? Because people who've had one-to-ones with me, people who've had conversations, I know I'll just give and give and give and give and give. Now, why? 2 reasons. Number 1, I trust in karma to give it back to me, not in the way I control, not how. It will come back, it just will, because that's my belief system and it's worked. But also there's a psychological principle, reciprocity I think is how it's called. And basically the crux of it is, if I give you something when you weren't expecting it, you're more likely to give me something back. Now I don't expect anything back, and you probably shouldn't, to be honest. But the benefit of doing that is you'll then have that leverage to say, well, I'm positioned as the expert and you need what I have. Okay. So now the question is, when it becomes a no-brainer for a business, it's no longer the question of how much could we budget for, it's how much does it cost not to do this, right? Because once you've made it very obvious to that person, I used your will example, right? How valuable is a will if I think I'm going to die tomorrow? Right?
You might not.
I might not, you're right. But let's say I knew I was going to die tomorrow. Or I was at least thinking in my head going, what if I do die tomorrow? Okay, me now having a conversation with a will writer is very important all of a sudden. Right? But if I didn't change my mindset around, or you didn't help me change my mindset around it by creating content, and so, what happens to your family? So what happens to all that camera kit that you own? What happens to Ignite if Galen dies in a bus accident, for example, as we were talking about this morning, before 10 o'clock, but anyway. The things you talk about. It's about positioning it so that it's not a negotiable conversation. 50%, or probably actually 60 to 70% of the conversations I have now is like, a company says to me, we have to do video, we don't know how. Help, please. So it's not the question of should we, it's a question of we need to, and we want you to do it, and we want you to help us to do it. But why? Because I've positioned myself as the only option. Because of how much I've just given. Because I can speak for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on video. I probably shouldn't, granted. But the point I'm making is, as long as you're adding value with every piece you're making, you'll gain this bank of stuff, which is a passive ad online. Right now, because of the amount of content I have online, I'm probably being seen by 4 to 15 clients, new clients. I have no idea who they are. Absolutely not a clue. But they will come through when they're ready. When they want to do video, them watching a piece of content from me today, while I'm doing this right now, which is really inception-y, will be part of the choice-making process that they've already made psychologically in their own head. Because they'll go, oh, Carlton's there again. So every time, they're just positioning me higher and higher and higher and higher and higher in comparison to someone else who does video, someone else who does printing, someone else who does detailing. Right? So how are you bridging that gap? And there's a lot of talk at the moment about, oh, the economy is going to be hard, or we're just seeing what's coming out of COVID and it's really difficult. So if you've got this much room between you and your competition, why are you worried? Because you're so far ahead. What are they going to do? Magically create 500,000 pieces of content in the span of a week? No, come on. And if you're creating 4, you're still 4 ahead. But when are you going to start? You don't have this archive set of content until you start. And that's why it's really important to establish why you're doing it first. Because the only way it's going to reciprocally give you a load of work in hindsight, long term, is because you started 2 years ago. Or 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, or 5 years ago. Now, it doesn't matter if you start today, but just be very aware that it's going to take 6 months to 8 months to 9 months to 10 months to 2 years until you see anything. But that's why it's your long-term thing. It's the thing you do in the downtime. It's not the, I'm going to do this, it's going to get me work. No, you might get really lucky, right? You might post the right video at the right time, and it might hit the right person, right? That's just luck. But you can increase your probability of that happening by increasing the amount of times you post. The more content you have, the more likelihood it is the right person at the right time is going to find it. There's lots of other strategies you can do. Hashtags, target audience, really targeting it from an advertising point of view. I won't get any of that today because it's not relevant right now to what you guys are trying to do. What you guys are trying to do is go, okay, I have a business. It's currently where it is. I'm great, really grateful, I'm really happy with where it is, but I want it to be so much better. So how am I going to get it there? A way, or one of the best ways, is to create legacy content that, especially if you're going to have the same conversation again, film it once, then you can use it. So let's say, who has a common question that they answer in a sales call?
What's your minimum quantity of business cards you can print?
Okay, minimum quantity of business cards. Would you rather say that 3 times a day, film it once and then send them the video? That's a benefit of doing video. Doesn't have to be as a video, can be as a video. What, any other questions that you say a lot of?
I get asked what a blog post is or whether their business needs one.
Okay. Is the answer quite... Could the answer to the question be quite generic?
Yeah, absolutely. I think blog posts are important for every business. So.
Okay. So then, would you rather say that, or would you rather have a video that you can then use? And what can happen when you do it as a video form is you can go very specific. You can go really in depth in one sector. You can say, for this sector, hi lawyers. Blog post is important for you because. Hi dentists. Blog post is really important because. Right?
How are you doing that? If you get those inquiries for those questions, do you mean you send them a link to the video on your YouTube page?
Depends on if
it
depends on. Okay, so there's two answers.
On the phone, you want to give an answer.
So it depends on. This is where your own trust in your sales methodology needs to be really strong. You need to ask yourself: is that prospect that's reaching out to you? Do you have an opportunity to tell them on the phone? Are they on the phone right now and you could just tell them the answer? Sure. Is that going to mean you win the sale? Okay, great, cool. If it does, do it. But you should have a mental note and then maybe a physical note afterwards and say, okay, well, I've been asked this question in 5 different sales calls, none of which have actually got to the point of sale yet, right? And then, if that happens to you a lot, you can then ask yourself and go, right, is this prospect that I'm about to spend an hour talking to, half an hour talking to, 15 minutes talking to, whatever, an amount of time talking to, actually most likely ready to sign a deal with me? Now this is just being really brutal, but are they? Right? Is this call going to make me money, yes or no? Is the answer I want you to think about. And that could be £5 or £5,000. Doesn't matter. Is it going to make you money right now? If the answer to that question is no, and you have the answer in a video, give them the video. And say, I would love to talk about more of your challenges. Feel free to let me know when is a good time to talk. Because what you're doing is you're going directly to their solution. They just want to know, Why is blog writing good for lawyers? They might not be ready to buy some copywriting services. They just want to be educated. Now, it's up to you. You might say, actually, well, no, actually, I want to talk to the person. I want to start to nurture them. I want to have that conversation. Fantastic. Then have the conversation. But if you don't have something else to give them, you only have the option of, I have to now have that conversation. Now, at the beginning, you have to do that. But as you start creating content, you then got these assets you can then use. So, hey, have you thought about this? Hey, your business will go under if you don't do X, right? Hey, you could triple your revenue if you do Y. These are all pattern interrupts. They're going, you're just naturally scrolling and you're going, oh my God, I've got to stop and listen because either my business is going to go under or I really want, yes, of course I want to triple my revenue. I want to make lots of money. I'm going to listen, you've got my attention. It's about creating creative ideas. Now that might be really simply of the beginning of your video is like alludes to the rest of the video. Hopefully your comfort break was a break in the brain to sort of bring you back into the room a little bit. And was there anyone who had any questions while they were on the break? I'm going to do a very quick Q&A just to get us back into the flow of it. Was there any specific questions or any concerns that anyone has about either their question, about creating content, anything we talked in the first half? Because this next half is going to be quite quickly moving into practical, because I want to get you to start creating the process and really start building that, because that's one of the benefits of doing something like this is actually you get to do it, right? And you get to do it in a safe pair of hands. But does anyone have any concerns or worries or anything that they had in regards to content or regards to actually doing the practical?
Can I just get clear on
Of course you can.
what you want from the 1 minute?
Yes. Yeah, of course. So for me, the 1 minute is an opportunity for you to answer a specific pain point that your client has. Just one. And the reason why it's just one is because I'm trying to keep it simple so that we don't try and, because you can do strategies where you like dip into 3 and etc. But for the sake of this, just getting you started, it's easier to keep it simple, because then you can start building the rhythm of doing it, and then you can work on actually making it more complicated. My goal today is to get you to the point where you have the confidence and the understanding of how to create a video, and you know what to create a video about, because then you can do it. And you understand the process of how to come across content, how to create content, how to build content banks, and how to actually come up with ideas. So you're not sat there going, I've scheduled some time to create some videos, but I don't know what to create. So I'm going to look at the wall and hope they come to me. And sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. But hopefully that covers it. Any other questions? Yes? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you're talking about, like, how do you, or are there specific things that you do that can be good hooks without them being obvious hooks? Because a lot of the classic ways of doing it seems so easy to see it, obviously so 500 million times, and they're just unable to make don't gel on your brand. Or,
Yeah. So what we're talking about here is how do you hold attention of an audience for an extended period of time? Okay, so the first question is, okay, I'll answer the first bit, how do you capture them? It's about asking a question or positioning yourself as something that's going to be a pattern interrupt. So, hey, have you thought about this? Hey, your business will go under if you don't do X, right? Hey, you could triple your revenue if you do Y. These are all pattern interrupts. They're going, you're just naturally scrolling and you're going, oh my God, I've got to stop and listen because either my business is going to go under or I really want, yes, of course I want to triple my revenue. I want to make lots of money. I'm going to listen, you've got my attention. It's about creating creative ideas. Now that might be really simply of the beginning of your video is like alludes to the rest of the video. So let's say, for example, you have a video that talks about 3 main areas of your business or 3 main tips. You could do each tip in a separate location. And at the beginning of the video, you could allude to the fact there's going to be 3 separate locations. So you could go and have a really quick saying, so you could say the intro in each area. And this is where you get quite interesting in regards to editing. But then you could, what's known as cross-cutting, so taking me stood here, then me stood here, and then me stood here, right? in a very short period of time, I can show each one of those frames to allude to the fact there's going to be me moving around in the video. That's a way of grabbing attention. There's no simple answer to how do you grab a good hook. For every audience, it will be different. And that's why you have to create something, put it out there, see what happens. Create something, put it out there, see what happens. And so on. I'm rinse and repeat. Because the better you get at creating content, the better you will have, as I said earlier, the knock-on effect of you being more confident with what you're talking about, because you've talked about it more. But also, you'll learn what your audience likes. Because you'll look at the metrics and go, right, why did this video get 1,000 views, but this video only got 2? Of course you can, yeah. Mm-hmm.
By far, way beyond anything else.
Yep.
Is there a way that I can, because what I'm concerned about is that that's just people watching you draw, it's not actually going to sell a white coat.
Again, it's a visual thing, right? Like, we're visual creatures. That looks really pretty.
Yeah. So is there a way that maybe is it like voiceovers of me talking about things that matter?
So something which to be aware of is that 95% of people will listen to the video first muted, especially on places like LinkedIn. So you won't actually hear the audio at all. So the best hooks are visual ones, because no matter how I look at the video, if I'm seeing the video, I see the hook. So it might be a movement of a camera, it might be me jumping into frame, it might be me doing something with my hands. It's about, and as I say, it's very difficult for me to say, you do this, it has this result, because that's all data led. So the reason why you've got to start doing it is so you can start to gain data, so you then know what works. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah.
But in terms of engagement and in terms of that, like, it's way beyond web showing process video. So how can I, with that data, how do I move forward? Because I don't want to just continually.
What happens if you combine them?
That's what I'm wondering.
So what I would now do is say, okay, people really engage and comment on this, so they clearly like this, but they also really like that, as in they physically like this. What happens if I combine the two? So now it's about coming up with a concept which is going to combine the two, right? So can you articulate something while showing something else, right? Can you show some of your art whilst talking about how you created it? For example. Yeah. So the rule of thumb to follow really simply in video is how can you visually tell a story and auditory tell a story as well. Because what's going to happen is your audience is going to want, like, how do we hold attention? Things should be changing as quickly as they possibly can that doesn't distract from what you're trying to talk about. When we talk about that, it's about how are you changing the tone of your voice. Like if you've listened to in the first half, I was going up and down and up and down. What I'm trying to do is not make it monotone, because you're going to go to sleep if it's monotone. What I'm doing, and I'm trying to move around where relevant as well, I'm trying to change things that happen. So you reframe the attention again, right? And you're going, okay, cool, right? Because you're going to be more engaged in the conversation that I'm having with you to say, actually, you should be listening here. What about here? What about this? And the more visual cues I can give you, the better. Because then you're going to go, cool. And this is why it's about, but also that can go the other way sometimes, and this is why I alluded to with the PowerPoint. Sometimes that can be distracting for your audience. So sometimes actually just you talking to camera can be really valuable, because once you get them beyond, say, 10 seconds, they're pretty much committed. There's going to be natural drop-off eventually, right? Like some people are just going to go, actually, this isn't for me, as you go through it. Don't worry about that at the beginning. Just worry about because you only want 1% of your audience anyway. Because the 1% of the audience that stays to the end consistently is the 1% that's actually going to pay you money, right? Or actually going to buy what you do, or want to have a sales call with you. If you worry about, and this is why, like, you either doing it where it's 1,000 people who are likely to become clients, or it's 10,000 people who they like stuff and it's nice, but it's not doing anything for the business. And this is why it's very clear and very important to understand, why are you doing it at the beginning? Why are you creating content? Is it to grow your business, or is it gain a following? Because the strategies you use will drastically change the outcome. I don't care how many views my videos get as long as they're seen by the right people.
I think that's where I'm coming from. It's like I can just keep doing process videos and I will possibly get more likes and I'll get a lot of views, but
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's having, or whether it's, I don't feel that that's actually.
Yeah. So the question I would have for you is, and this is why it was important, and we talked a little bit about pain points earlier, it's about articulating why someone, when they make a decision in regards to what you do, why are they going to choose you? Something we were talking about in the break was, you have a solution to a problem. Everyone in this room has a solution to a problem. How do you position that problem and say, we are the only solution for you, dear customer, dear client, right? So, how do we feel about filming a video on our phones? Is that something you're comfortable with? Is that something that you've done before? Is that something that you're okay with? So if I said to you, right now, just talk about your day to your phone for a minute, could you do that? Do you think? Yeah? Sorry? Okay, why?
I think it's a confidence thing. I get really embarrassed. And like today I'm really embarrassed, so I just like start random stuff.
Okay. Okay. So my question is, why are you embarrassed? What are you embarrassed about? What would happen that would make you embarrassed? Is that because you think that the people around you are going to judge you? Is that because, oh, she's not very pretty? Is it that? Yeah, but it's a like. Yeah. But the thing is, it comes from a place of confidence, right? Like, if you genuinely do not care, like I wouldn't stand up here in the nicest way possible if I actually genuinely was worried about what you think of me. If my self-worth was tied to what do these people think of me, I would not be stood here today, because I would physically stop myself from doing it, because the job of our brain is to keep us alive. My brain would stop me from doing it, right? And the thing is with content, when you go to create it, is that's the worry that you have. You worry about what's going to happen when I post this piece of content. Is it possible you get hate comments? Yes, it is. Why does that matter though? Right? The thing that I think is really important about today is about being in a position where you can create a piece of content in a safe environment where no one is going to go, ha ha, you look silly. Because everyone's potentially going to look silly. If you can create a piece of content here, then of course you can do it at home. Because this is a harder environment to do it in. So something we're going to do now, which is the first bit of practical, can everyone get out their phones if they don't or have it already? So the first thing that I want everyone to do is not think about it, just press record and talk to your phone for 1 minute. No, you can. You can only do it because you're worried and thinking about it. Okay? There's some psychology here, and it's very simple. If you get in the way of your brain kicking in and saying, oh my God, I might die, oh my God, I'm worried, oh my God, what do people think of me? Within 5 seconds, you'll be fine. You have to do it within 5 seconds though. Because if you don't, then your brain will start kicking in going, I'm really worried, I'm really concerned, etc. Right? And then it will stop you. It will physically stop you from doing it. Because it's going to go, what if I die? Right? So, talk to your phone. Press record, talk to your phone. Talk to your phone. Talk to your phone. If it's easier for you, you can also stand up and do it. It's all right, don't worry. We're just getting into the habit of starting to create some content. So we're not actually creating the actual content now about what we're going to source you in regards to your problems. We're just getting into the habit of talking to your phone. So talk about your day, talk about who you are, how you're feeling, etc. And just get into the habit of picking up your phone and talking to it. And just get into the habit of literally opening your camera app, facing it towards yourself, pressing record, and starting to talk. Yeah. And starting to get into that process of how do I come across on video. Right, now if you've done video before, this will be easier. So the thing is about script writing, is if you have it here on your phone screen, when I look at the video, I will know you're not looking at the camera. Because I will, yeah, no, you're right, because it's a degree thing, right? And it will help, it will. But if you truly want to make a connection, you actually want to be able to do videos quickly and actually have a large amount of emotion. You can the tip I always say to people is stick a post-it note over the screen. So you've got the notes there, and you can't see yourself, because the reason why we look at our phones is because we see ourselves, right? And we're going into that judgment area of going, how do I look? Why am I like this? What is my hair doing? The reason why we put a post-it note over the screen is you can't see yourself. But it also forces you to look up, right? So if you put it under, so the selfie camera's here. If you put it just underneath, you can completely read your notes. Glance down, glance up, glance down, glance up. But also you can make eye contact with the lens, which is going to make a difference for an emotional connection with your audience. Right? No, so you put a post-it note on the screen. So you put it here so you can't see yourself. Because even subconsciously you're going to go, why am I saying that? Why am I looking over here? What am I doing? What am I concerned about, right? When you create a piece of content, instead of focusing on the piece of content. As long as it's close, like it doesn't really make much of a difference. Right? If it's a small one, you can put it up here. But the reason why the reason why you look at the camera is because you'll make eye contact with the person watching the video. The reason why I always suggest putting it over the screen is because it will do two things. It will give you the notes in a place where you can read it, and also it will block the vision of what you're recording. Yeah. And you'll be close enough, if you're recording it this way, so it's facing this way, you'll be recording it close enough to the camera where you won't necessarily, like ideally you should be looking directly into the camera, right? But especially at the beginning when you're trying to do something detailed, you need reference notes. Even I need reference notes when I do something like that. So what I do is I write the reference notes, I put them nearby the camera lens, I will glance to the camera, like the line that I'm going to read, or what I'm going to talk about, look back, deliver, rinse and repeat. But especially when you're starting out, it's about not worrying about doing it perfectly, it's about doing it. Yeah, you can do you can do them, but they require more training to get so you're comfortable and they feel good, and it's all about emotional connection with your audience. When you're reading a script, it can be very quickly because you're reading from a script and it's very boring and it's very because the natural rhythm that we would have when we were talking gets removed because we're focused on what's the next word, right? So the reason why doing this exercise a couple of times is really important is, as I say, is you're going to get very, like the first time it's like, oh, I don't like this. That's uncomfortable, right? But the more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to get with it, because it's not new anymore. I don't actually, annoyingly, right? But another way to do it is literally if you had your notes here, so you had your notes here, put your phone here, and then I don't think this glass is heavy enough.
Put some in the glass.
Come on, you can do it. Yeah.
Just read.
And then but in this case you would have to glance down and then look up.
Yeah, I pretty much know the script. So I'm pretty good.
But again, if it's something that you're used to talking about, you'll know it.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Which is why most people won't need a script. That's why I don't need to sit here and go, I am reading from a script, because I know. Yeah.
And you tend to find a phone a more effective medium than, say, using recording yourself on Zoom on a desktop or a video on a desktop.
It's completely up to you. It's whatever you feel more comfortable with. The benefits potentially of doing it through Zoom is, again, it's about camera quality. The reason why I always mention phones is because phones are becoming really, really good. Webcams sometimes hit or miss in regards to camera quality. If you're just trying to like do it quickly and you happen to be in a Zoom room, then do it that way. Of course you can do it that way.
Is the quality of Vimeo better than Zoom?
They're about very similar, to be honest, after you've compressed them. Like, because we're talking about, at that point, we're talking about compression. They become very similar quite quickly. How to get good quality? The best quality you start with, like this is all 4K. So I can do a lot with it because it's already 4K, right? The reason why I mention phones is everyone owns a phone. So if you can get in the habit of doing it, and also your phone will always be with you. You won't always necessarily be at the office. You might get a content opportunity where you go, I've just come out of this meeting, and you might be really fired up about it. And that's when you should create the content, not when you get home. Because when you get home, you'll be like, actually, this was a really good meeting, but you won't be as energetic about it. Yeah. In the video afterwards? Yeah, so subtitles on the video afterwards, yeah? So subtitles on the video afterwards, you would post-edit in. So there's apps you can do it in most editors, but in most cases you're manually writing what you're saying and adding it, which is time consuming. It's great for intention because people, as I say, people are going to listen to it muted, which means they can actually watch the whole video and just read it. But again, it's one of those things where that's an optimal step. Again, it all comes back to the content, it all comes back to actually how you're going to do the content originally and coming across well in the first place, and then you can add those bells and whistles on top to make it even better and up the level that you're doing it again. But again, you're the catalyst to that information. Like, again, it's not about me, it's about video. But I'm the catalyst to help you understand how to use video. So how did we find that first exercise?
I think it's very much what you're saying, that looking at yourself is the hardest thing, which is why I've realised that one of the reasons I read script is so that I don't have to look at myself.
Yep. Another way is just use the back camera on your phone. Put your phone around.
But then you can't see yourself.
Exactly. It's also, you will get better quality from the back camera than you will from the selfie camera. Because it's a better camera, full stop. It's just better.
But you wouldn't know how it's sitting.
Yeah, which is a framing thing, and this is why it's harder to do it that way, because you've got to what we would call pre-frame, where I'm sat down, I record a video, and I know roughly, as long as I sit back down in this same place, it's going to look the same. The reason why we always start with a selfie version is because we can kind of work out, okay, am I even in shot? Okay, is my head in the shot? etc. We can make those choices. There is rules to follow, right? Again, at the beginning, you shouldn't worry about those rules. The simple rules to follow are, where are you sat? What's distracting in the frame? So what else is in that frame, right? So what's going to distract the audience from looking at you? Again, is a PowerPoint in a presentation going to be distracting or adding, right? In some cases it'll be adding, in some cases it'll be distracting. The thing that most people struggle with is actually getting to the habit of trying to look into the camera and be comfortable with that. The way you need to think about it is it's a gateway for you to talk to your audience, right? you need to think about it as you are trying to make eye contact. Like when you were talking to someone in a meeting or in this conversation, you can notice my eyes are trying to dot around the room because I'm trying to make as much eye contact as possible with everyone, right? Because you're going to make more meaningful connection with me if I've made eye contact with you, because you know I'm trying to cater this content to what you need to hear or want to hear. The reason why connecting with, like, you can do it the further you move the phone away, and if you're slightly off and you're looking slightly down, it's easier to not see it. But the habit to build is actually try to get comfortable with looking into the lens, because that will make a massive difference when it comes to distributing the content, because people will see that you're making eye contact, what will feel like with them, but what actually you're doing is making contact with the lens. Because you need to remember that the lens is the thing capturing you, right? Not the phone screen. The phone screen is just a redistributed sight of what that lens sees. Right, so if you point it at something, it will just show you what you point it at. The next step is now the bit where we're going to start introducing the actual content element that we worked off in the first half, which is, what's the question? What's the concern? What's the thing you're going to educate your client on? Right, this is what we talked about earlier, which is the hook. A way to structure a video goes as following: a hook, the body of the content or the value, and then a call to action, or a C2A, right? So what do you want me to do at the end? Is it book a call with me, right? If it's a sales piece of content and you're trying to sell something, which you should do less of, but there is times where it's relevant, you should go, hey, if this is interesting to you, let's book a call. Find the link below to book a call, right? This is especially relevant for you, I think. But that shouldn't be in every piece of content. Because the problem that can come with every piece of content is then you're perceived as just a sales machine. And that's not what marketing's there for. It might be, hey, was this content valuable for you? There's more on my profile. Hey, was this valuable for you? Why not follow so you don't miss the next time we create a piece of content? Hey, was this valuable for you? Why don't you go in the comments and let me know what you think? Hey, what's your biggest challenge right now? Tell me in the comments. And what you're doing there is you're finding out directly from your audience who've just watched a video what their challenges are, because then you go, okay, we'll make another video, and you can keep that process going. For the sake of today, everyone has a single question, and for your sake, I know you chose a couple of products. Choose one, pick one, and try whether you write this down first or you get it right in your head. It's completely up to everyone in how they want to do it. Think, how can I articulate what the outcome of the video is going to be? So what I'm going to discuss, what the information I'm going to articulate is, in 3 seconds. So it could be something simple like just saying the question. Do you struggle with X? Do you understand why bleach is important? Do you understand why a business coach is important? Do you want to move products from here to here in a very short window? And then go into the value bit, the bit where you're actually going to educate your client, right? And then ask, what do you want them to do afterwards? So before you're going to create the piece of content in a minute, but just take a couple of minutes to think about those sections. So what's your hook? What's the thing you're going to say at the beginning in the first couple of seconds that's going to allow me to stop on TikTok or stop on Instagram or stop on LinkedIn and get me to actually look at the piece of content and consume the piece of content? Then what is the value that you're going to add, or the thing you're going to articulate, so the piece of education you want to provide? And then what do you want them to do at the end? Is it follow you? Is it write a comment? Is it book a call with you? Is it go to the website? Just take a couple of minutes to think about each of those areas. And it's not about putting it into boxes where you have to say word for word. It's about having a rough idea of, okay, so I'm going to open with this. I'm going to then move into this. I'm then going to ask them to do this. Because if you put it into too much of a box, you're in the position where you've got to then read it, which will remove the things I mentioned earlier, which is about emotion and connection and being able to actually articulate specifically what you're doing. Because what you want to do is be able to want to speak from the heart. You don't necessarily want to go, I'm going to talk about a diatribe now. I'm going to talk about in a monotone. I'm going to share why. And you're not reading from a product page or a service page. What you're doing is you're articulating genuinely as if you were doing it to your best friend or a colleague. How can I help you? Because that's what we all want to do. Right? We all want to help our ideal clients have a better life in some description. Whether that's making their importing journey easier, or making sure that they have the right insurances, or making sure they make the right decisions business-wise, or make sure they have the right products or services, right? And when you're ready, again, don't stop, don't pause, just start creating the piece of content, because again, your brain will get in the way. Pick up your phone and start articulating those things you've just planned out. So say the question, move into the education, then move into the C2A. And then after that, do it again. So do it as separate videos if you want, or in the same video, but do it directly afterwards again. And the reason why is because the first time round, you're going to question what you're doing because you're walking through it firstly. When you do it the second time, you've already done it. So you know what you're going to say. So then you'll actually be more comfortable in what you're saying, which means you'll come across better. But you'll also be in more of the habit of doing it. So whenever you're ready, again, take as long as you need if you still want to plan out a little bit more on what is your hook, what is your actual content, and then what's your C2A. But if you feel you're ready, pick up your phone, start recording the content. Okay, let's explore which product is it? Okay, so what would be the question in regards to why I should care about this product?
Do you suffer from hunger now problems?
Okay, and then how does the product help with that? So the opening hook is, do you suffer with X? Right? So then what happens if I use the product? Okay, but how? How's the process? Explain the process. Explain how do I use it. Okay. Okay. So again, think about it this way. Why specifically is that cream more important than another cream I could get off the shelf? What is it about that cream? Is it because of what's in it? Is it because of how it's made? Is it because of the research that's gone into actually helping deal with this specific issue? Okay.
So the call to action for us would be...
and then, hey, if this is interesting for you, or this is something that you would find valuable, you can find the product on Amazon, you can find the product on a website, you can find the product XYZ. Don't overthink it, literally just write you a rough guide yourself here, going, okay.
So before they actually place an order,
then try it.
The Chinese company to import
I don't really know the depths of it, because obviously
there's a few
I don't
things
do all
you
that
need to
bit.
know first,
Okay.
because this can go horribly wrong.
I know what's here, should know.
But then say, okay, I would recommend this product because it's easy to use. Right?
Because it is about us.
The principle of today is not having a perfect video. The principle of today is getting you into the habit of how to create the video. Right? So even if actually what you're saying isn't 100% accurate, so you should use this cream because it's the most valuable and the most amazing cream in the world and it's definitely going to 100% work, that might not actually be technically true. But when you have the information, because then now you can go away and say, right, I need to know this information. I need to know why is this product specifically better. You know, in the same way with bleach, right? Using your bleach example. Why is your bleach better than a bog standard bleach? Bleach is bleach, right? You tell me. If it's not, tell me why it's not. and if actually how you use the bleach is actually important, why? Because surely me just putting bleach on stuff is going to make stuff clean, no? Because as someone who isn't a professional cleaner, that's what I would assume. Bleach is bleach. Does the job it says on the tin. But as an industry expert, you're going, no, actually, if you do it this way, actually, if you do... But it's up to you to educate the client.
So that's what we need to do.
You ready? Go for it.
Just do it here.
Yeah, or go outside, or go on a walk, or wherever you feel is relevant. If you feel if it's going to be easier for you, stand up and then press record. If that means going out in the foyer, if that means walking over here, if that means walking around the room. Sorry? Yeah.
So this is quite a long and she's given away all the information
So what you're doing is great, but don't let it get in the way of actually doing it.
Yeah.
Research, yes. Look at what's out there, yes. Understand whatever's out there, because that's important. Because if you're going to put something in the market, you need to know what's there. But also, remember, you guys are unique. You guys are going to do it your way, no matter what else is in the market. You're going to say it your way, you're going to have your own customer service, you're going to have your own process, you're going to have your own vision, you're going to have your own journey. So it's about actually just getting it done, so then you can actually analyse your own work as well.
Yeah.
Right?
We're just having a little bit of, not problem, but like, which is the, what's it called, the opening line, because Chris, they would like to
No,
know
but I
more
put
about-
like call to action. Are you about to start importing stop? Because there's a few things like what could possibly go wrong. Well, quite a lot actually. We're here to stop you making importer mistakes. Before you start importing,
Or expensive.
don't wait till your cargo gets here. To
So you're running into the classic issue, which is you overthink about the content itself.
Yeah.
The reality of the fact is content shelf life is a lot lower than we think it's going to be. The best thing to do is come up with 5 that you really like. Stop! You need to do X. Hey, have you thought about doing X? Actually, by the way, if you're trying to do this might be a good idea. And then create all of them. See which ones you personally like.
Yeah.
And then put them out in the market and see what happens. Right? And this is why I'm trying to get you into the routine of this is how you create the content. It's good to be aware of the structure, but if the structure gets in the way of you creating it, then throw out the structure. So you're giving a little, you're just giving me a little insight into your world. So, hey, did you know that if you don't do this right, the outcome could be X? If this is interesting to you and you need to find out more information, go to Y.
Because what we want people to do is to go to the website, fill out a form with their...
So that's the sales part of what you want to happen.
The sale, yeah.
The only way you get there is you sprinkle that in with everything else that you're doing, which is the educational side, which is the dominant side, which is creating awareness around what you do. That's what I'm saying. Some pieces of content will be sales, which is, hey, you have this thing, come here, do this. Right? Cool. Fantastic. The other side of it is, actually, here's one thing you're not aware of. Right? And this is why I said to you about breaking up that system. If you were going to create some videos around the actual whole process, actually take each part of the process, break it into 10 chunks, and then do 1 video per chunk.
Yeah. Yeah, so it starts with the ERA.
Hey, are you bringing something from China to the UK? These are things to be aware of. 3 things, quickly. Bang, bang, bang. If this was interesting to you, follow for more. Very simple structure.
Yeah.
Are you this? Yes, cool. These are the things you need to be aware of. Bang, bang, bang.
So that would take about 10 or 15 seconds to be...
It doesn't have to be a minute 100%. We use minute as a yardstick, but it can be less. If you can do it in less, do it in less. The logic to follow is how much information can you condense in a short period of time. That's all that matters. If it's a minute, great. If it's 90 seconds, great. If it's 60 seconds, great. If it's 30 seconds, great. There's some videos I put out that are 15 seconds long. And it's because I have one point and I'm just articulating that as well as I can.
Do you appear in the videos yourself?
Yeah.
And you've seen yourself before a couple of days.
The bulk of my content is me talking.
Right.
In some description. We change how, we change where, we change in what context, but it's me talking. Because I'm a service provider. I sell me. I sell what I do for clients. I tell the transformation that I give clients. In the same way you do. You sell a transformation. You sell a hand-holding process through bringing something from China, from India, from so on, into the UK. In a very complicated custom system. But you make it easy. So it's how can you articulate that to people who don't know you? And how can you get them to actually have the attention?
What we found, what I actually know, is that with most freight forwarding companies out there, the type of customer that we're going after, they don't want. And the reason why they don't want to deal with those people is because they don't know what they're doing. And they have to explain everything. The likelihood of something going wrong, the wrong paperwork, the wrong...
Yeah, but what you want is someone just to go, I don't particularly care what needs to happen, I need you to do that.
But I want to communicate to them that when they choose a freight forwarding company, it's not just a case of picking up, doing a search for it. You need to know which freight forwarding companies are going to want to work with you and which ones don't want your business because...
Then educate that, then educate on that. Right? So for just for today's session, pick one of those and create a piece of content about it. Like I wouldn't research anymore. I would just start actually doing it because the best way you'll know is by trying it. Because you'll try something and go, I don't like that. And then you'll go, okay, but why don't I like that? You see what I mean? But if you didn't do if you didn't do it first, you wouldn't go, why am I saying it that way? I can condense this. Like it can be a sentence, not a paragraph. Because if you don't know, it's going to take you 4.5 minutes to say, okay, well maybe I can't do this in 1 minute video. Actually, maybe I need to do it in 4 videos. But until you try, you don't know. Like I didn't know the runtime when I first did this. I was like, right, let's go through it. Let's find out. That's part of the fun. It becomes fun. It becomes fun. How did you guys find it?
Well, I was whispering for a start, but yeah, I just find it really difficult to get I think it's a trust thing. Like
But is that because you don't trust in the fact that you're going to say the right words? And you're going to come across how you want?
I'm just going to, that I'm not going to come, because I suppose the background in science, it's all about being very concise and very specific. And
Yeah, but that comes with being not concise. That comes from writing a massive article and then condensing it down.
Yeah, but so me talking to the camera is just a lot of waffling and like saying the same thing 3 times.
Yeah.
So like take 2 minutes.
So there's 2 or 3 ways to do that. Number one is you just film a lot and then you cut it down afterwards if you want to edit it, or you just do it many, many times and you self-edit. So you go, why did I say that? Why am I going on that sentence?
Then my
Why?
brain is just like, why not just write a script and read it because it's quicker.
Is it though?
For me it is. Okay. I'm really good at writing, so I can...
Okay, then write it, but don't write it as a script. Write it as these are the points I want to make and this is how I'm going to articulate them.
I need to learn to, I'm not very... Yeah.
Don't write it as if you're talking it, write it as if you're writing, because that might be really valuable for the copy, because then you've got the copy already written.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So just say, I want to write this point, and I want to cover these things. I want to write these things. Da, 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 da. Okay. Everyone has a different process. Yeah. It's about understanding the caveats around each process. So if you're going to write a full-blown script, what is the hurdle that you're now going to have to overcome because you've got a script? You know what you're going to write and you know what you're going to talk about. Great, cool. But now how do you make it feel genuine? Now how do you make it feel and have more connection? Okay, that's the hurdle. It's about creating a starting point and creating a system which allows you to start. Are you in despair?
No, that's very good. Yeah, it's just going to, the content. I just my content. I just want a bit more content there. But what you have done is you've bridged that gap, that actually getting the phone out and just doing that. And your tip about the post-it note is excellent, because you do get you can distract by your own.
And also the reason why it's a post-it note is because there's only so much room on a post-it note. Right? So you can't have a diatribe this long because you can't put it on. So it keeps you when you're note writing, you have to be concise with your note taking because you have a square. And it also means you're going to do less in a video because you physically can't fit any more information on the post-it note, which means you have to stop filming, put a new post-it note on, which also means you're going to create short form content which will sit on social media or sit wherever you're going to distribute it in a more concise way, which means it's more likely, as I said at the beginning, to actually be seen in its full reality. Right? It's better to distribute a 1 minute video 10 times from a 10-minute presentation than a 10-minute video once. Because the average drop-off is about 2 minutes in.
Mine's only half a minute, is that a problem?
Nope. The point of this exercise is to find how you can condense information into a form of a video. We use a minute as a yardstick because it's the common time that people end up using. If it's 30 seconds, great. If it's 90 seconds, great. Everyone asks me, what's the perfect length of time? The perfect length of time is simply how much information can you condense in the shortest period of time. The reason why I'm going to watch a video or reading an article is because the article will take me 10 minutes to read, but the video might take me 5 and I get the same amount of information. So time is valuable to me. I've just saved 5 minutes by watching it as a video instead of reading it as an article. So I save 5 minutes. Times that by the number of articles I want to read a day, you can suddenly gain an hour. But the question is, from a creator point of view, which is what you all are trying to do, is how can you help your clients condense their time? Because if you can help them condense the information into the time, then you'll gain their attention, which means you're very likely to be front of mind, which in turn means you're very likely to get an opportunity to sell to them. Which at the end of the day, if we go all the way back to the beginning, why do we want to do it in the first place? Because we wanted to grow our businesses. We wanted to gain more people to talk to. We wanted to gain more clients. We wanted to gain more ability to actually sell more. But you have to add a huge amount of value up front, expecting nothing in return, so that for the perfect timing, for the perfect person, they'll then come to you. Because they'll think, I need this thing, I need to talk to this person. Coca-Cola analogy. Why do you buy Coca-Cola? Because you are consistently seeing Coca-Cola. How did you guys find it?
Yeah, it's like with sales, isn't it? Like it's being in the right place at the right time, just when that person needs to do it. So I remember, like loads of, in the days working as a sales rep in freight forwarding, you would visit like 20, 30 customers and get one. But usually that one wasn't, it was coincidental that you happened to be in their office on the day when they would...
You happen to sell the right product at the right price at the right time.
We need another freight forwarding company.
Yeah.
What we're doing is rubbish, and you were the last person who came into their office, and that's where you get it. There's loads of...
Yeah. But what we're doing with marketing is we're expanding that concept outwards so you can have that same touch point with people times 6 at the same time, or times 10 at the same time, because it's going online and they're going to see me in content, right? So because of the amount of content I have online, I'm connecting with new clients. I'm probably connecting with 50 or so new clients right now whilst talking to you. Because recorded me is talking to them, not me personally right now. But this is why creating content, and once you have an archive and a set of content online, it sits online forever. Now, the shelf life of content is a conversation about platform by platform. YouTube is 8 years. LinkedIn is 3 weeks. That doesn't mean you should just do YouTube, because everyone's eyes went, oh, well, it's good if it's on 8 years, then it's going to sit there. YouTube is a different platform. YouTube is a search engine. It's not a social media platform. The reason why social media platforms are interesting is because you can test really quickly and get really quick data. So you could create 4 videos in the next week and you would have data back within 2 weeks of whether that video was a good idea or not. On YouTube, you're going to have to wait 4 years to really understand if it was a good video or not. You'll know kind of roughly when whether it takes off or not. But to really understand whether that was a strong video from an algorithmic point of view, you need to give it a lot more time because of the lifespan of the platform. And also, YouTube itself wants longer form stuff. It doesn't, unless you're talking TikTok short, like TikTok element of shorts, which is a separate conversation entirely. But in most cases, we're always trying to condense time. Even if it's a 10-minute video, the reason why people watch a 10-minute video is because they're condensing 35 to 40 minutes worth of information into those 10 minutes. Because in most cases, we can articulate like this faster than we could write it, or faster than someone could read it, right? That's not saying you shouldn't still write it, because there's SEO reasons you should write it. People will potentially consume it better if they read it, right? It's about mixing up how you're doing your content. So you're not just one-dimensional. So you're not just doing blog writing. Traditionally, that's what most companies will do for marketing. Right, we're doing marketing, we're going to do SEO, and we're going to have blog writing. And then they use those blogs on social media. So they attach pictures of products, or they have images of themselves, for example, and then they have those blog posts or those articles of them communicating their value. The question I have for you is, how are you going to stand apart? Because if that's what everyone's doing, surely you need to do something different to stand apart in your market, right? Because everyone in this room has them times 16, at least, in the local area, probably, right? That are all trying to get the same work, and we're all trying to compete over the same job. So the question is, number one, who do you talk to? And number two, why should they choose you over choosing someone else? Why should they choose your product? Why should they go with you? Why should they invest their time, energy, and resources into talking to you about what you can do for them? There's a personal dynamic there, sure, because if I don't get on you personally, it doesn't matter how good you are, it's not going to work. Right? Especially in a coaching environment, it's not going to work. They have to have a level of trust there. The same with products, or the same with services in the training point of view. If I don't trust you give good training, I'm not going to hire anyone that you train. But if I trust that your training is up here, yeah, absolutely I want that sticker. Yes, absolutely I want that level of credibility, or I want that person with that, thing, whatever it is that we're holding, because we value that thing. We value that relationship. But when we're trying to make meaningful connections with people so they stay with us longer term, that's where the emotional side of it needs to come in. Because we'll make emotional connections. Yes, I trust this person. Yes, I trust what they're going to do. I can see the transformation. I can see where the person was when they were trying to do it on their own, or they were trying to build a business on their own. And I'm seeing, and also it's results. Sometimes it's just results led, right? I had this problem. I don't have this problem. I had this turnover, I now have this turnover. These are things you should be thinking about when you articulate your marketing. Video is an element of your marketing strategy. But you can take all of the content principles I've taught you today, and it can be in podcasting, it can be in blog writing, it can be in videos. It should actually be in all of them. Because you're going to change how people can, in the same way, when we talked about which platforms to post on at the beginning, you're going to get people in a different mindset. You're going to get people in a different point of view. Like if it's on LinkedIn, they're going to be in a work mode when they consume it. But if they see a similar video or the same video on Facebook, they necessarily won't be. Right? Which means you're going to connect with them in a different way. And it's all about building trust, because we don't just want to work transactionally with people, especially now. We want to actually fully trust you. Right? 85% of the people we work with, the only reason why we actually work with them is because they trust my opinion on the way forward. And the reason why they're coming to me is they want to know how best to do it. Right? So if I say, actually doing a promotional video maybe isn't a good idea, they'll trust the fact that that's why I'm saying it, and I'll explain a better way. Any questions, hurdles, concerns? Do you feel confident now that you can go away today and actually start creating content? So firstly, know what the content's going to be, but then secondly, actually know how to do it?
started anything yet. I think with doing a longer, like podcast,
Mhm.
a longer piece, it's going to be a bit of a challenge. But I think we know where to start.
I mean, the way to think about that is it's a long-form conversation that happens to be recorded. So it's a conversation like we're having now, but it just so happens to be recorded. Because that's all a podcast is. It's a conversation. It's a recorded conversation.
For how long?
It's up to you. Podcasts can be anywhere from 20 minutes to 3 hours. I watched one the other day that was 3.5 hours long. I watched it in 2 sittings, but it was 3.5 hours long. I've also watched podcasts that were 20 minutes long. Again, it comes back to how engaging and how interested am I in the content. Well, I would start by, say, start at the bottom, so say, I'm going to do a 20-minute one, and then build it up, right? Because the ones that are 3 hours long are, we're going to talk about this topic, this topic, this topic, this topic, and this topic, really in depth, right? But you don't have to start there. And this is what I said to you. A lot of creating content is just about getting started, because it will build your ideas of, hey, we could do this, hey, we could do this, hey, we could create content about this, hey, we could do this. And then you can start doing stuff more complicated, like a podcast, like Days in the Life, like a real style piece where it's not just one video clip of you talking, where you can start adding in elements, you can start changing up your locations, you can start playing around with editing, you can start adding in music, you can start doing all these things. But all of that stuff is going to be a distraction until you're in the position where you're ready to just share value. Because all of that other stuff is just making the content more enjoyable to watch. If the content still isn't valuable, it doesn't matter. Because that's the bit that's important.
So the podcast will be a conversation with you and another member of staff. So
Could be a member of staff, could be a client, could be talking about industry updates, could be taking hot takes on the news.
Could it be you on the road?
Yeah. Solo podcasts are a thing.
Sorry, I was very conscious of time and happy for you. We're not being kicked out of this room or anything like that. Happy if Carlton's happy to sort of
Yeah, absolutely.
questions and things like that. But obviously, some of you do need to get away, and it is 1 o'clock sort of thing. So first of all, thanks very much, Carlton, for.
You're very welcome.
I will share your details, or I've actually got your business card as well.
Well, there's some just here on the table if anyone wants to grab any.
So feel free to grab those. Keep an eye on your emails from a GetSetSo perspective. There's obviously lots of workshops coming up. There's also a new grant coming up that I think you probably would have been told about by now, which is a grant of up to £4,000. 80% contribution from us as GetSetSo, 20% from you guys and the businesses. I'm not going to go into the details of it because it changes every time I hear it at the moment, but the marketing is going to be coming out shortly in the next few days, so keep an eye on your emails and the clear things will be there. But the 4K, the 80% part, those bits are right, whether it's for new businesses, old businesses, or something in between, I don't know at this time. But have a look on your emails and that's fun. But thanks very much for everyone's turning up today and engagement in the workshop. I haven't been able to sort of be listening in and out behind the door there, so it sounds like it's been fantastic, and I look forward to seeing you all again on a screen or in person at an event. Thanks very much, and thanks again, Carlton. Thank you.
Very welcome. Right? And say, okay, this is a common question I have. Here's the answer. You have the option of saying, I'm going to give you the answer, or I'm going to give you the answer with me talking on camera. Because you're still going to be able to add rapport because it's you talking on camera. So you're still actually talking to them, but you're physically not talking to them. So you're not trading time within that specific day to talk to them. Because it might be 6 months down the line, 3 months down the line, 2 months down the line, 1 day down the line, that they will want to have that conversation with you, but you will actually be able to add enough value so you can push them across to a sale. And this is where it's that having that balance of you need to make sure you know whether they're ready to bite or not, or whether they're in a position where they're going to buy from you or not. Now you may not know that. Okay, fine, then just make a judgment call and then make a decision. And it's just trial and error that you'll know. But eventually, once you've done enough sales conversations, you'll know kind of whether they are or not. And then it's a point of, if anyone ever says to you, oh, we need time to think about it, what they're saying is we need more information. That's what you should be hearing when you hear that. It's got nothing to do with they need time. They need more information. They need to be educated. Because if it was a desirable thing that they had, and they were like, this is literally something I have to do right now, then they would do it right now. The reason why it isn't is because they're not educated enough on it. And it's your job to educate them.
So on the flip side of that, if you quote someone,
Yep.
I know quite a lot, you spend the time, you have that conversation, you find out their needs, their requirements,
Yep.
you talk through it, you quote them, and then it goes dead. You don't hear anything.
Okay,
or
so
you don't get
how-
feedback. So if there's more content available, they might be thinking, that's more money than I want to spend. But if there's content they can go and look at, then actually they can break down the reason why it costs what it costs.
So there's two ways I would answer that. Number one is, how are you quoting them? Are you sending them it via an email? Or are you having a call? Like,
Either or both, or a mix of the two.
so my recommendation would be you never quote by email. Ever. Ever. Never just send a quote. The process should be, an inquiry comes in, hey, this sounds amazing, let's jump on a call to hear about your needs. Legitimately, I want to know exactly, am I the solution that they need? Right? Great, cool. Then in that call, you give them the quote. The reason why is you can then question or get the objection back. Give the quote, how does that sound? Oh, it's a bit too, okay, cool. So now I can educate you on why it costs this much, if that's the hurdle, right? And then what you do is you follow up that call with the email, reciprocally just saying what you just said in the call. And then if you have content that also reinforces the points you made about why it's expensive, then you win. Because then they're going to go, okay, I get that. Okay, I get that. Here it is again. Okay, I get it. Take my money. Clear my car. Right? I'm conscious of time, so I want to move quickly into some practical examples. So what I want you to do now is think about a pain point that your potential client has that you can answer in 1 minute. So a question a client would have that you're able to answer in 1 minute. I'll give you a couple of minutes to think about that. I would recommend writing it down. And in a minute, you'll realise why I needed everyone to have TikTok on their phone. How are we looking, guys? We all have a question?
Should be easy.
And if this isn't easy for you, this is an example of why this is something you need to practice.
Yes.
Because how are you going to give value to your audience if you don't know what they're suffering with, or what their pain points are, or what their issues are, or what they're trying to overcome? Because you can't be in a position of authority to say, this is how you overcome your problem, if you don't know their problem.
Yeah. The thing is, I'm a bookkeeper, so I do kind of know what their problem is. I'm just not sure how I answer that.
Okay, so what's their problem?
Organisation, interest, lack thereof, paperwork.
It's boring, I hate it. Yeah? Okay, so how do you make bookkeeping fun?
Good question. How do you make bookkeeping fun?
A way is to
They don't do it.
A way is to flip the other way around.
That's how it's
Is
done.
to say, you think bookkeeping's really boring. What if your books are out of order? What does that look like in your business? What happens to the business?
Like, is this what it looks like when they come to me?
But what's worst case scenario?
Worst case.
Worst case scenario, if their books are absolute trash and they can't do a tax return, what?
Well, then they can't file their tax returns.
And then what?
Business fails.
Fine. Yeah.
Fine, leading to potentially business fails. Okay, now we know what we're creating content around.
Fines. Fines?
How to avoid fines on HMRC. Don't have shit books.
Give me your
Job done. I mean, in Crux, am I wrong?
No.
I know there's a lot more complications and a lot more what I would call fluff around that, granted, but sometimes in content, the really simple what I just did deliver now would actually hit the mark. Okay, you've got my attention, right? Your business will fail if you have shit books, but here's how I can fix it. Okay, I'm now really interested on why me having shit books is a good idea, right? So after the practice, I'm going to give a little bit of a breakdown of how to do a video like effectively. And the point of that is not to intimidate you into having to do it that way. It's for you to be aware that that's what you should try and emulate. Ideal world, right? So who knows what this is? Or these are? Headphones, yeah? Who knows what this is? This bit of it. Why do you think it's designed like this? You're right. What's the byproduct? Byproduct of it is you have a mic that you can move to your mouth. The key part of video is me being able to hear you, right? Phones are incredibly good at creating content because they're designed to have phone calls. Which means if you hold a phone like this, you're probably not that far away. You might as well have a phone call on the speaker. And ideally, if you have headphones like this, I'd recommend in this practical exercise you record it like this. Ideally, you would record it like this. You'll see some TikToks where people do this. The reason why is because they're moving the mic as close to the sound source as humanly possible. Because then you can articulate to your audience directly. So can everyone please get out their phone? You don't need headphones. It's an ideal thing to work around some of the things. Again, these are things to think about. These are not ideals. The point of this initial exercise is you're going to be getting into the habit of actually, can I talk to a camera? Right? Getting through that uncomfortable feeling of, oh, I've got to talk to a camera. So some quick, very quick fundamentals around how and why to create a piece of content, right? Something you see on Zoom calls is people doing it like this. So they've got a phone in front of them, or they've got their laptop in front of them, or webcam in front of them, and they will shoot so that the camera is pointing out the window. So the window's behind me. The problem that happens there is your camera, and you'll know this as a photographer really well, is the camera can choose what it's going to expose or light for. The problem with it when you do this is it's going outside, it's a huge amount brighter than in here. So it's going to have to guess. Ideally, it will try and find a middle ground. But the concept of the middle ground is I'm a black blob with a white box behind me. Right? So turn around. Go close to a window, and we're going to do this exercise in a minute, hence why I'm doing the song and dance. Stand here and talk this way. Because what's happening, instead of the phone trying to illuminate the background, you're being lit by the sun, indirectly, through the window, and it will give you this beautiful soft light on your face. Which, for the people who are really concerned about how they look, is more flattering than this. Promise you, it is. The other thing that people sometimes get wrong is when they hold their phone up to create a video, they look at the screen. Don't look at the screen. On the top of your selfie phone or camera, look at the camera, okay? Make eye contact with the camera. And if you want to know the difference, create a short video looking at the screen, then create another video directly looking at the camera. You can try it now if you want.
Same with the video camera's got a flip out screen.
Don't look at
the screen, not a lens.
Don't look at the screen.
And it's like really.
People connect with eye contact with a person, right? The reason why we're able to connect right now is because I'm making eye contact and trying to make eye contact with each person in the room. So you're going to connect with what I'm doing. When you create content, you have to do the same thing. But you need to remember that the camera is where it's being filmed from, which means if you want to connect to the person that you are recording, you need to talk to the camera. Now, if you want to start by looking at the phone and you're just getting into the printer, fine. Like, all these things are suggestions to how to improve. It's not you have to do all of these things at the beginning, because that's not fair. But first get over the hurdle of doing it, then get over the hurdle of, okay, I'm now going to look at the lens. And do one thing at a time. So, this is the fun bit, guys. This is the fun bit. We could do this one at a time, it's up to you. We could do this it's not going to be perfect, but audio-wise it's not going to be perfect if we all do it at the same time. But I think for this example and source of time, it'll also be good to do it all at the same time and also make everyone not feel like everyone's watching them, which will not help with the situation at all. In an ideal world, you should be as close to this window as you can. Feel free to get up and move. But what you're looking to do is you're looking to do and create, so open your camera feed on your phone, switch it to the selfie camera, and then walk to the window, and before you've even thought, press record and start talking. It's very important you do this quickly. I'll explain why after, but it's very important you do this quickly. Okay?
Doesn't matter what we talk about.
Nope. Literally, this first exercise is walk to the window. It's great if you're here because you literally just stand up and start talking.
Video marketing, learning about lights.
Press record, guys. Going to video.
Hold on. No, I've done a video.
You've done a photo.
Water's wet.
Just.
That's where you start, isn't it?
It's alright. Made a mistake. Made the mistake now.
Oh my god.
Just go through your entire feed.
I'll just do that later. Right.
Oh yeah.
So, just a tip, guys, don't do photo modes.
Because if you walk up, you go like, we could do it when you're on the way up, you are in motion. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay.
So how was your first ever video, guys?
Bad, it was a photo.
Well, preferably yes. I mean, having the phone in the right mode does help, I hear. So what I was trying to get you to do there was get in the way of your brain going, this is going to kill me! Because it's not, right? Really quickly, psychologically, what's happening is your brain's job is to keep you alive, right? This is something which is uncomfortable and your brain doesn't have enough evidence to go, this isn't going to kill me. So quite literally, your brain's stopping you from doing it because it thinks you're going to die. From a tribal point of view.
It will.
Right? I promise you won't die from video, I promise you. The reason why you just do it is you can jump in the way of your brain triggering the moment. Right? Now, we're going to do the same exercise again, but what I want you to notice, make sure you're in the video. What I want you to notice is it might be only slight, but it will be slightly easier for you to do. And another reason why I got you to move is your brain is really confused. It's going, oh, you want me to move my legs and you want me to do what? So we're giving your brain stuff to distract it from doing it. So let's try one more time. We're going to do the same thing again. Literally, same thing. Doesn't matter what you talk about. Just create a video, get up, walk to the window, create another video, walk back.
Video mode.
Yes, video. Run up and jump out the window, guys, come on.
Video mode. Testing on the video mode.
It's
Smile that time. Notice that.
And press record. That's the some people do it and they haven't pressed record, don't they? It's right.
So how was that?
It was marginally better, to be honest.
Did it feel better?
It was marginally better.
Look, this is going to be 1% improvement every time, right? Little, this is what I mean by little steps, baby steps every time, right? The point for me is to get you to the point where you're just going to do it. You're not going to think about doing it. You're not going to worry about doing it. You're not going to think, what am I going to talk about? Because the next bit's really exciting. That question you wrote down, I want you to take about 3 minutes to think about how you would tell your best friend if they asked you that question over coffee or wine or however much in that scenario. Just have a think in your head about how you would answer it. And then when you're ready, get up, don't think, record it. Press go, say what you said in your head.
What's the optimum time for a TikTok or reel video?
As short as you can is the simplest answer, but I wouldn't worry too much about optimizing it right now. The concept is actually getting you to do it. You're going to you're going to you're going to fluff, you're going to say things wrong, you're going to make mistakes. That's okay. The point of this exercise is to get you to do it. So then you have a fundamental understanding of how to do it, and maybe it's not perfect, but it never will be perfect. It's about the concept of then starting to do it consistently and building it into your routine. So as you just noticed, we've done it twice, and you're already a little bit further ahead of doing it.
One thing I really struggle to do is look at the camera, not on myself.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So what I would tackle there is, when you get comfortable with the concept of doing video, the next thing you need to work on is I need to bring my eyes up to look at the lens.
Yeah.
The thing is that some people worry about when they do video specifically is they go, I've got all these things to learn and I can't do them all at the same time. Then don't. Get with the concept of doing one video, get comfortable with doing that, then work on something else. Then work on lighting, then work on sound, then work on content. Eventually, if you're going to use the art of compounding, if you make 1% improvement every day for the next year, you'll be 37 times more better than you were when you started. But just make 1% a day. So maybe today's 1% is, I feel more confident at doing video. Great, fantastic. Okay, tomorrow's 1% is, I'm going to feel even better about doing video. Okay, keep doing that for a week. Next week, I'm now going to try and look at the lens, which is harder than most people think. Right? Because naturally we'll go, yeah!
If I look at the lens, it's quite distracting if I look at myself.
I mean, a technique you can do is if you have a tripod set up or etc. and you're not doing this really walking exercise, is you can set up your phone, put a post-it note over the screen, with your notes on it, so it forces you to look at the lens or you're going to look at the notes, one of the two, because you can't see yourself. So that's suddenly not an option, right?
I like that.
So take about 3 minutes or so, maybe 5 minutes, somewhere around there, and think about if your best friend asked you that question over coffee or wine, how would you answer it? You're trying to help them. They're a starting out business owner. They've come to you with this question. How are you going to help them? You care about them. You want them to succeed. You want them to be incredibly profitable and wonderful and all happiness about their business. And this answer is going to push them on that journey. Have a think.
Yeah.
And then when you're ready, get up and record it to your phone.
When you say talking to your best friend,
Yeah.
Are we still answering a question that our clients
So,
might ask us?
so this question that you've written down,
Yeah.
I'm your best friend. What's your question?
My question was, I want a newborn shoot. I want a newborn shoot that has lovely curly sleepy poses, but what happens if the baby can't get the baby to sleep?
Okay,
That's
so
a question a client might ask me. not my best friend.
yeah, fantastic. So I'm a new client. This is another way to think about it. A new client's come to you with this problem, right? Just got married, just had a new kid, really want to capture that point in their life because they're going to get really big really fast, right? But I've got this problem. How would you answer it?
I'm very confident we can get baby to sleep. I have some great baby whispering skills, which you might even learn something when you're with me. That sounds a bit fun.
Okay, so you've got a good structure there. Now go through it in your head a couple of times.
Yeah.
Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Until you're sick of hearing it in your head, get up and record it.
Okay.
And it's really important to not have a gap in between the concept of I'm going to get up and record it and actually doing it. Because again, we're trying to break that pattern in your brain where your brain's going to jump in and go, this is scary, we're not going to do this.
Do you think it's better to write kind of bullet points of what you want to say and then fill it in on the cuff? Or actually in your head know exactly what you're going to say?
The answer is both, and it depends on your style.
Yeah.
At this stage, none of that matters because we're just trying to get you into the principle of doing it. Everything else you can optimize, you can get better at, and my recommendation would be that you write detailed notes around whatever you're going to discuss and not a script.
Yeah.
If you want to script it, that's fine, you script it. Personally, I don't like doing scripts because it will lock you into, and you're more likely to go, oh, I've missed a word, the world's over.
But you can do a bullet list of things.
If you do, I need to cover this, 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 and this, you've still got a lot of room. I mean, look, I'll show you. These are my notes for what we're talking about today. That's it. I need to cover this, this, and this. That's it. And the thing is, when you are genuine and expert, you either know this stuff or you don't. And if you don't make content about it. Learn it and then take content about it. But if you genuinely are an expert, you'll know it. And you just need to trust in yourself that you actually do. I didn't know 95% of the stuff I was going to say today because I know it.
I wrote a script. I like a script. You know the launch button here. I wrote a
Do it.
script, and I just had
Just do it.
Of course, I can do a one-off birthday t-shirt for Jack, and just let me know whether you want a photograph or whether you want just single colour clothing or anything like that. Give me a call. So I do the script, I just read through it, white repeat, repeat. Okay, give me a call. And then I'll start reciting it as they walk around the house and I do it. But I will like input as well.
I don't know why we're doing this.
That just felt right to me. I don't know.
The reason why you feel irritable and tired and not so good is because you're not honouring the natural rhythm of your body.
Do it. Do it.
You come to this section.
Don't think.
Step back.
Press go, start talking.
Just to rest and really honour. So it's how do you
So think about
What you have to take from that though is that you might turn it on, but you're going to sit up and do it again. So change
What you're trying to do is you're trying to build this muscle. It's like anything, right? The reason why we're doing so many and we're doing it in quick succession is we're trying to build that muscle quickly, right? So that you're in the habit of doing it. So when you started today, you were like, oh, no way, right? But now, because we've done that muscle over and over and over again, every single thing that you think is like, I'm not going to do it, I'm going to assume I'm going to look like an idiot, you're like, fuck it, let's just do it.
Well, my first one was the photo.
Yeah, but you've made that mistake now, so you're like, okay, cool, let's make sure it's on video.
Exactly, yes.
was I was asked to do a presentation a couple of years ago. I hadn't done presentations for 30 years, and I was absolutely scared. And but like you said, I prepared all what I wanted to say. And then I got up there, and somebody very kindly videoed it, and then sent the video to all the speakers. And when I looked at it, I actually not that bad. There were a few irritating things that I did.
Yeah, but then that's one of the benefits of recording it as a video, right? Because then you can analyze it and you can say, right, how do I make this better, right? But if you never record it, you won't know that. But the thing is about getting into the hurdle of just doing it, and then you can worry about everything else afterwards, because you've got something to look at, right? Your first video is never going to be good, right? Like, it's never going to be good. I'll break it to you right now. It's going to be a car crash. Get the car crash out of the way. Preferably don't be in it. Talk about death earlier. Never going to be a standard. Never going to be a joke. We're going to live down now. So how was that exercise?
No, I think I'm more nervous being in this room with other people.
Oh, this is a harder scenario to do it in. That's deliberate, right? Because if you can do it here now, it's very easy when you come to do it at home when you're on your own.
Yeah.
Right? But if we go right back to 10 o'clock, and I asked you to do that, you'd have all walked out.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy. See you later. I'm not doing this.
Not too late.
I mean, hopefully not, but we've got about, well, officially 7 minutes. I want to do that as Q&A, if everyone's happy to do that as Q&A.
Just a quickie.
Yes.
As you said earlier on about landscape and...
So the difference between landscape and portrait, if you're optimizing what you're doing, again, everything I'm about to say is optimizing what you're doing. LinkedIn and Facebook want you to be landscape, the other way around. And Instagram, TikTok, and any like infinite scrolling feed wants you to be portrait, so it fits into the screen. And from an algorithmic point of view, it will punish you if you've just put a landscape video with a big black bar on each top and bottom. It will, because it'll be able to see it. The way around that, if you haven't filmed it portrait and you are going to post-edit it, scale the video up. Now that comes into problems because how we're filming it deliberately is so I can do that. And if you haven't done that, that could be challenging. But for you guys' case, I would just always film stuff as portrait because that's most likely how you're going to film natural doing it because of the way you hold a phone, right? It's unlikely you're going to walk around like this, right? You're more likely to do it like that because it feels more natural in the hand, right? That's where a lot of this content comes from because the infinite scrolling feed is this. That's where it comes from. But that's also how it's going to be consumed and that's how the platform wants you to deliver it. So, but the thing is you need to focus on at the moment is your content. Because it doesn't matter, I can make it look and sound amazing and I can teach you all of the techniques to how to do it. If your content's shit, no one cares. What you say has to be valuable. I'm not saying at the beginning, and that's why I did an entire hour on understanding about who, why, and when. Because if you get that stuff right, and as long as you can actually articulate it through like decent audio, so it's not really muffled and really bad in regards to audio, everything else doesn't matter. It can be dark. It can be like not ideal framing wise. It can not be an ideal video from a visual point of view, and it doesn't matter. Because it's not the product you're selling. For me, everything has to be on point because that's the product I'm selling. But for you guys, it isn't. So again, it's like understanding who are you talking to and what are they going to judge, quote unquote. Does that answer your question? Fantastic. Any other questions?
Reels? Just making a reel. I mean, so many people that do what I do, they make so many reels about the bits that they've done to the vehicle, you know, and they zoom in and pan out, and spin around and put the music.
I mean, we're getting quite arty at this point because of what you do is great, and you can do that kind of content, and that content's really visual.
If you so wind that back. What's the most simplistic, most basic way? Because I've never made a reel to do a basic reel, either of me being, me filming myself saying something, or a basic reel of showing some work that I've done.
Do you have Instagram on your phone? Yeah. Open Instagram. Everyone can do this. It'd be a good exercise for everyone to do. So open Instagram. If you've updated your app, it'll be at the bottom of the screen. We're looking for a plus button. Click that one, select Reels. Now, there's going to be two cameras you're either going to see. One, it's your back camera. So if you see the floor, it's your back camera. If you see yourself, it's the selfie camera. It should be the selfie camera, hopefully. And the quickest and easiest way to create a reel, at the bottom of the screen, there's a white circle. Hold that white circle and it will turn red. You're now recording that camera. So if you go down to the... Yeah, so you're on your one version back on your app. So you just go here and then go to Reels.
Hold it down and just press it.
Yep. So if you hold it down, so press it. There you go. So you're now recording. So now I would just talk. So you're being invited to remix other content, which is very exciting but absolutely useless. So we're just going to click OK for now. And there we go. So what you are all hopefully now seeing is the real curation platform within Instagram. The TikTok one looks identical. Outside of it's got TikTok branding instead of Instagram branding. This is how I would start. Because you don't have to edit, you don't have to do anything. I'll use your example with like loads of different clips. Yeah. Quick clip, stop. Quick clip, stop. Quick clip, stop. That's how that's made. Okay. And because Instagram wants you to create real content, the entire ecosystem of that platform is designed to be easy to use. I can go through it if you want me to, but I think it would be a waste of time because it is pretty self-explanatory. It's do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. You have a set of clips. You can then play around with those clips. You can move the order. You can add music. You can delete some clips. It's all within the app. So it's designed in a specific way where you can literally go from opening Reels to posting a Reel in like 3 minutes. It's designed to be quick because Instagram was like, we want as many people, and they've literally announced yesterday that every video on Instagram in the next month will transition into a Reel. Every single video. So that's all the videos that were just videos and anything new. Automatically will be posted as a Reel.
What if you want to do, if you want to do say you want to do a 10-second video, something in a story, that's just a story frame, isn't it, really, essentially? But that's going to change into a Reel.
So the stories is the only thing that will stay separate because they're separate. They're basically the concept of stories is a 24-hour glimpse into my life. That's the idea of it. But the actual content you post to your page is because at the moment Instagram is quite confusing. We've got videos over here, we've got IGTV over here, we've got Reels over here. So Instagram went, okay, we're just going to combine them all. Because it's too confusing and there's too many, and people don't really know what's going on, and there's the videos over here, and videos mean this, and we've got a different app completely for video, and so it's just a massive...
And where does the Reel go? On the story timeline or
So when you get to the end of creating the Reel, so the Reel's been created, you'll be then asked to write a caption, and in the drop down you'll also be given an option to say where your location is, or etc. And then you're also given a toggle switch which says post to feed, and if it's off, it won't post to feed. So if it's off, it will only go into your Reel part of your profile. If you post it to the feed, it will go into the grid as normal on Instagram. So it depends on, do you want it in the grid or do you not want it in the grid?
And if you don't, it's gone?
Nope, if you don't, it goes into the separate tab that has the Reel logo. So it will just be posted there. And then you can, and basically the reason why you should post stuff as an Instagram Reel over something else is because when you post it as a Reel, it goes into the Reel algorithm instead of going into the video algorithm, which will give you the likelihood that it could go viral. There's lots of science behind that. I won't get into that today. If someone wants to have a conversation with me afterwards about that, I can. The crux is post as many things as Reels as possible because Instagram wants people to use Reels, so they will reward you for attention by using Reels, right? The same with TikTok, the same with Facebook, the same with LinkedIn. All of these platforms, Reel feed, we're on the Reel feed, everyone. All of these platforms want you to create video because it's becoming the most engaged thing from the perspective of content. No offense. It just is. Not against me.
Lucky I've launched a new business.
I know.
The other question then, if you were, what we were doing a minute ago is, if say you filmed yourself for 30 seconds answering a question, you can either do that as a reel, or you can do it as a piece, as a 30-second video clip and put it in a post.
Yes.
And then it stays in the post timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd recommend you post it as a reel, and then post it to your grid. So using the caption as you would do normally.
You get the best of both worlds.
So then you can win-win on that set. What you can also do is in that initial, when you start creating a reel profile, at the bottom left is a plus button. If you click that button, it will open your camera roll. So that's how, if, for example, you wanted to use the video we literally just did just now on your camera roll, and you wanted to put that on Instagram Reels, that's how you would do it. You would go add. It's also a way, if you're going to create something that's quite complicated in respect to it's got a shot here, here, film those on your camera roll.
Okay.
Instead
like
of in the app.
3 seconds, 3 seconds,
Yeah.
4 seconds, 5 seconds.
And then when you get back from the job or when you're sat down at home, you can then sit there and go, right, I'm going to add this one first. Then I'm going to add this one. Then and then you can start so what you'll do when you add them, it will add them in chronological order to the where you add them. So if I add the shot of the clean car first, it'll be the clean car at the start of the video, and so on all the way through. It's something to be aware of from a storytelling point of view. If it is going to be dirty to clean, make sure it is dirty to clean and not clean, dirty, cleaning, dirty, clean, because it will just be jarring and be really weird for the viewer. Ideal world for you would be really dirty car. Look at all the things I did. Look, it's glistening and lovely. That's a really easy example, right? Because it's very visual. But you can take exactly what you do as well. The reason why I'm getting you to start with just, hey, this is me, this is what I'm doing, is because they're easier. It doesn't take some level of, and I'll quickly go into like structure of a video. The first 3 seconds of a video is the most important, full stop. It's called the hook. It's because I need to hook your attention into watching the rest of the video. It doesn't matter where I'm going to give you incredible value in the next 30 seconds if you swipe past in the first 3. So there's multiple different kinds of hooks. An example is, did you know blank? The solution is blank. Or using my analogy from earlier with the books, if you have shit books, your business will die. But here's a solution. So I've got around 4 seconds at the word but. Okay, so I'm like, okay, what do you mean my business is going to die? Right, now that's a quite drama-related one, but that's sometimes what you want. Because you want to stop people in their tracks and go, fuck me, I need to listen to this.
You want to arrest the audience.
That's what I mean, right? Because they're like, or sometimes it might be, like, you know, a logic we sometimes use in your analogy would be, here's the clean car for a split second, or like 1 second, here's me doing it, or then a shot of it dirty, and then here's what I did. Or if you were doing it like really vlog day in the lifestyle, it'd be like, clean car, hey guys, I'm going to be doing this, whatever you're doing, and then the clean car at the end.
There's a guy that does video, he's called Mountain Rug Cleaning. Okay, so a bit of a reveal here. And he takes absolutely disgusting rugs and cleans them and makes them good. I would say, personally, you've got a fabulous opportunity to just zone in, not, you know, on a tyre that's got to be one of the dirtiest parts of a car.
What, yeah. Can be.
Well, look at this deal.
You didn't see what I did on Tuesday, but there we go.
You in camera showing what you're doing to it.
Yeah.
Have a look at that. Have a look at Mountain.
The flip side of that, for me,
It's
is...
a great before and after opportunity that you've got that maybe the rest of us I can't do.
Quite a lot of time I go away from showing too many befores, because if it's a job that I don't want to get more of that work, if I show it, I'll get more of that work.
That's a really key point, actually.
If I put lots of pictures of motorhomes, I hate doing motorhomes. If I do a client's car and they've got a motorhome, I'll do their motorhome. I won't advertise, I do motorhome.
So the really, really key thing with anything you do in marketing is only advertise the stuff you want more of. Right? If I want more workshops, I'm going to advertise that I've done a workshop. Right? If I don't want a workshop, I won't advertise I want to do a workshop. Because you'll get what you put out. Right? I mean, how did I get to this situation? Quite literally, I put out me talking in front of a room, and now I'm stood in front of a room.
Simple, really.
People sometimes overthink marketing. It's cause and effect. That's it. You do this thing, it has this approach later on.
Just a quick question. the reels,
Yeah.
it goes into your reels section,
Yeah.
but you choose when you want it to go public, or does
So-
it automatically go public?
So when you post it and you press post, it will go live. So the one thing which is a caveat on Reels specifically is it has lots of attention, but there isn't a scheduling API for it yet, which is really annoying.
You can't save a draft.
No. Well, I know you can save a draft. But what you can't do is go into like the Facebook schedule or the Instagram schedule and go, right, at 5 o'clock this afternoon, I want this reel to go live. You can do that with normal video posts. And from what it's sounding like, you will be able to do that soon with Reels, because if they convert all the videos into Reels by proxy, they have to give the API to themselves to be able to do that. So it would make so much sense for them to give the scheduler within Facebook the ability to schedule Reels, which, by the way, will be a complete game changer for anyone not doing Reels right now, because it means you can basically bulk record a load of Reels, have no downside because you're posting them all in the Reel algorithm, and be able to bulk record. But also it means the Reel algorithm and the concept of doing Reels is going to get so competitive it's not even funny, because you guys will be genuinely competing against people like me who can create 25 Reels a day. So it's like, now's the time to do it, because when that starts to happen, it's not like it happened, there's no point. There's lots of point, and there's lots of more reason to do it, but it's going to get harder and harder and harder and harder and harder. And that's why I'm saying, and I said at the beginning, the sooner you do this, the sooner you can win from doing it.
How important is trending audio?
It depends on if you want a trend jack or not, or what I would call trend jam, which is basically you take a song or something which has organic clips or organic coverage and you twist it to your business. Personally, I would rather build a slower group that takes time to grow in respect to, like, it's just organic content and there's no trending sounds and etc. Because I'm not trying to explode my account, because again, I'm not trying to look at, I don't want numbers, I want a good amount of the right numbers. But the thing is with sound specifically is you'll just get a load of influx of people, which there's pros and cons to having, but it's not exactly what you want, especially when you're doing it to grow your business. To grow your business, actually, arguably I would say just create original content that talks to your ideal consumer or the person you're trying to help, and put it out and let karma worry about everything else.
Do you think concentrate more now about me being the face and talking?
The thing you should concentrate on is becoming the only authority figure in your niche. That's it.
Yeah.
That's an adding value to the people you want to serve.
Yeah.
Being the only person who can be that solution for them.
I've overthought it from the start, and I've gone straight in with trying to do these fancy reels and just got myself in.
Yeah.
My knickers in a bit of a twist about it.
The thing is, you are a lovely person. And
Well,
I think
thank you.
to our faces. I definitely think that you showing you is going to be a massive thing in what you do with photography, because I'm going to be more drawn to you.
Especially in what you do, because people want to be, like when I do coaching or when I do video consulting or video production with people, they want to connect with me to have a connection with me because they want to trust me. Because when we do interviews, they're talking to me, right? They're not, the cameras happen to be there, but they're talking to me, which means if we can have a good conversation and I can keep you basically distracted from this really intimidating thing I'm putting you in, because you know what the goal is while you're doing it, it really helps. And that's why I'm trying to be in content as much as possible, because then you can really get to gel with me and you can work out really quickly, am I someone you're going to connect with or not? And moving back to what we discussed at the beginning, you're going to get people who are going to be like, holy shit, he's perfect. You also get people like, he's a fucking twat. But you don't want those people, because those people were never going to pay you because they think you're a twat. You do want those people.
So I have to go.
That's all right.
Course day on Negus, so.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. Hope you took value from it. Shall we officially close it there? I'll be still around if anyone wants to ask questions, but thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much. Really good. So much to figure out now.